All right. What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. I'm glad that you all could join me this evening. A lot going on, a lot to discuss, a lot to really talk about, and we're just gonna get into. That's all sports in it to win it. Excuse me. Let's have a talk for a little bit, and then we're gonna open it up. So I want to talk about a couple of things. Misty, if you want to raffle, you have to put an exclamation point raffle and then space and then the number you want, all is one word. And welcome everybody who's joining us. So tonight we're going to talk about the Cupcake McKinney case and some odd things we're going to discuss, and we're going to be real frank and real upfront and honest about some things. Because I'm going to be real with you, right? I'm gonna be really real with you. Because it's just, these things are preventable. A lot of these things that are happening. And I'm disgusted in the outcome. I'm disgusted in the situation that it was even able to happen in the way that it did. And I have questions. So I know some of you may be much more adept on this than I am. But I definitely want to talk about it. But let's see who all we have joining us this evening. And then let's get into some good conversation, man. Let's talk about some things. Let's definitely discuss it. So, first and foremost, let me see. I see Dita Gamma in the building. What's the motherfucking deal? Only One Lie. What's the motherfucking deal? Culture Anubis. Jason S. I see Sourberry. Guard your nuts because she will steal your pistachios. Rashida Reed in the building. What's the motherfucking deal? Ronald Isley. What's the motherfucking deal? INF Storms. Miss Bell. The bell has rung. Class is in session. Empress Yaya. It's always good to see Miss Empress Yaya. How are you, Miss Yaya? It's not cha-cha now, y'all. Yeah, now, y'all. Let's see. Miss T in the building. What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome. Professor Trill. What's the motherfucking deal? Melvina Wesley, and I hope I didn't mess it up too bad. What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. Super chat. What's the motherfucking deal? Let me make sure. Look. If I missed you, I ain't diss you. You know how y'all know what it is. Now, if you're new to this, I'll give you a fair warning that the Den is raw and uncut. So if you're sensitive to the language, well, I'm sorry to hear that. We're definitely going to speak our mind. We're definitely going to speak the way we feel, because sometimes some of these things that we discuss, the people must be heard. And the people must be heard honestly. But some of these things that we discuss, sometimes some people are passionate about it. And, sometimes there are things that are on your mind that need to be spoken about. So like I say, now I briefly heard about this case a few days ago, and I won't say that I was on top of this case or following this case as much as the case that took place down here in Houston a few months back with the Leah Davis situation. I'm gonna be honest, that was I don't know, the things with these kids, man, I can't lie to you. It's very unfortunate, and I get more upset with the way that these things happen. I get more upset with the parents. And again, people say, oh, you're victim blaming. But no, because these are enablers of these situations. I got questions. So from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, and welcome Chocolate Hebrew. And if anybody else, Miss Juicy Couture, welcome. Tell it, welcome. And so my thing is, like I said, this is from what I know. And that the little girl was abducted from a birthday party in the projects. Apparently nobody was watching them. And the culprits were Patrick Stallworth and I think a lady named Aisha, something like that, Brown, right? She had her own set of issues with her own kids, and so I don't understand why you're taking more kids or participated in that. I got a few things that I can tell with that relationship. She seems to be a very unstable and probably desperate woman. And so, hey, you do what you got to do, I guess, to I guess you got to do what you got to do to keep some company, right? So, and I think she had well, I guess we lived something different down there in Alabama, but I guess you would say a CPS situation. And sometimes I wonder about the logic of people because you wonder how she went to go and steal her kids back, essentially, right? Went to go steal her kids back at gunpoint. What did you think you were going to accomplish by that? Then went on a high-speed chase. So my thing is, obviously not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Obviously not the brightest Crayola in the box, right? And again, I'm going to talk for a little bit, and I will open up the line so you guys can call in and share your thoughts here in a bit. So obviously she's unstable. And again, and you're helping this man kidnap children. You have your own issues with kids. Now this guy had already been found guilty of having child pornography in his phone before, had a couple of weed charges, no felony charges, so again, no big deal. It's something we talked about the other day, and we were just saying, hey, look, because we were talking about the case of, damn it, what's his name? The guy that just got killed in Dallas with the whole weed situation going on. That gentleman up there in Dallas, right? He didn't have any felony charges, I don't believe, but he did have prior charges and things like that. So just telling you, like, just because a person doesn't have a felony, just because a person doesn't have a criminal record, doesn't mean that they're not out there doing Joshua Brown thing. I knew it was Brown. I wanted to call him Thomas Brown for some reason. I knew that wasn't it. Don't put anything past anybody, right? So let's kind of get into it, man. Let's talk about my thoughts on this. Now, Patrick Stallworth is scum, a despicable human being, trash, right? Because they found a baby in the trash, I do believe. I didn't get I heard some people say she was burned. Some people say that asphyxiation was the cause of death. Again, I'm a little vague on the details right there. You hear different things from different places. He's scum. The chick he was with is scum. But I have questions for the parents. Where are the parents? She said her name is Quintessa Jackson. Who's Quintessa Jackson? Because the reason why I say I have questions about where the parents are is because it's simple. How does your child end up playing with another child about similar age, unsupervised, at nighttime? If I'm not mistaken, it looked like it was night. I might be wrong on the camera. I meant to double check the time, so I could be wrong. But again, it seemed like it was late evening, and you're doing whatever you're doing. So why? Because I know the rumors were originally, it was her birthday party. That had to be false, because if it's your birthday, aren't you at least keeping eyes on the birthday kid, right? You would think that you would be keeping eyes on the birthday girl. So that wasn't it. And the mom her name is April Thomas. So I question, where is April Thomas? Say it was the cousin that lived in their projects. Now, there's some things, I don't know if y'all watched the dad's interview and what he spoke about. And you can tell that nigga, he's definitely in the streets a little bit. It is whatever. It is what it is. Hey, you do whatever you do. Who am I to judge, right? But there are some things that, yeah, okay. So it was okay. So I see somebody saying that it was a cousin's birthday party, but they weren't even invited to it. So that tells you it's a sick situation. So mom just want to go do something. She's trying to get out and about. She's tired of having the kids. So, but again, nobody's watching the kids. They're not invited. I mean, can you fault the person who's having the party? They may have a certain guest list, or they may have a certain arrangement they have set up just enough for who's invited, who's going to be there. And this may be unexpected mouths to feed, or maybe unexpected kids that they didn't plan on watching. You know, it's a very questionable situation. Again, I blame the parents. I blame the mom especially. She dropped him there. And if people say, oh, whatever, however you want to look at it. A couple of things that stood out to me in these interviews, and like I said, I'm opening up the line here. About 10 more minutes, I'm opening up the line and let you guys call in and share your thoughts and maybe what you've heard that I may have missed. But the mom in the interview, and this is something I don't know why this bothers me. And maybe it's a trivial thing. Okay, sometimes little trivial things bother me. I'm gonna get back to the dad's interview in just a second. But the mom said, "Don't call her by her name, Cupcake. She doesn't understand Kamille." That's such an odd fucking thing to me. Don't know why that bothered me. Don't know why I found that strange. Because again, if you're only around certain people, yeah, Cupcake, if you're so used to calling a person by their nickname, it is what it is. But the fact that the kid she can't respond to her own name, like, at all, like she's just not aware of that, something about that bothers me, Because again, I know a lot of people, they just have pet peeves for their pet names for their kids, but the kids know their damn names. You know what I'm saying? So the bro's supposed to be watching, but he's 11. That's another thing, man, about parents having these kids, and then and if you're an older child, if you have a younger sibling, I didn't have to go through that, right? I don't have to go through that. I never did, fortunately. Maybe you had some younger cousins. Sometimes when they came, I had to watch their ass. But don't you hate that? Having the children watch children. When do they get to be kids? They didn't lay up with anybody and have a kid. So why do they have to do that? I hate that. I understand teaching responsibility and all that. But if you're a kid just a couple of years older than your sibling, shit, when do you have a childhood? Because you raising your damn little brothers and little sisters and doing all this shit, and by the time you become adult, you right back at it. You know what I'm saying? You ever notice that too? That the older siblings are always, they're either more responsible generally. So there's not. They generally tend to be more responsible, raised much differently because the second child is generally raised by the older sibling. The parents they're not as in tune and as in touch with it. So it is a different situation, right? And welcome, whoever I may have missed. I see Cleve Bryant, what's the motherfucking deal? Ashley Graham, what's the motherfucking deal? Lady Tia, what's the motherfucking... Good to see you, Lady Tia. I always like seeing Miss Lady Tia. Jennifer Cobb, welcome. Anybody I may have missed, like I said, if I missed you, I ain't dish you. But that's such it's a bothersome thing to me. These are just, you see it all the time. Oh, well, he 10 or 11, he can watch it. See, a lot of places, 10 or 11-year-old can't watch themselves. It's illegal for them to watch themselves. And then they have to be responsible for another child. Like, come on, man. They did not ask for these children. They did not ask for that responsibility. So, you watch your little sister. Well, you dropping kids off at a park. Like, again. So that bothered me, like I said, with her situation about not knowing her name. Again, the kid being out there. He's an 11-year-old. It may be a party. He may have video games. Who knows? I don't know. Again, let me not go into details I don't know. So I don't want to go that far into it. But again, two extremely small children hanging out in the projects in the middle of the night. Nobody is watching them. Multiple men and passed by just from that short little clip of a couple of minutes that they showed. Anything could have happened. Anything could have happened. So they're in a place they probably weren't invited, shouldn't have been in the first place. Where's the mother when all this is going down? I'd like to know that. I know the dad said he gets a call and, he's got people. I got people looking here and there. I done checked all kind of abandoned buildings and projects, abandoned schools and all this other stuff. He done been all through the bando. And again, like I said, you could tell he got some little ties to him. I'm not knocking him for whatever that. I'm not going to judge anybody for that. I know some street niggas, they some good fathers or whatever else. But it's just some of the things that he said, and some of the things they try to bait him into saying. He's just, so what would you do if you find him? Or if you, and he was, I won't say smart enough, but sensible enough to not say that I would do this and do that, because then that just makes you look a certain way. He said, oh, I'll call the authorities and tell them where they at, But he said something, and again, some people may have picked it up, some people may not.
but the way he referred to something about what's going on in these projects, that ain't got nothing to do with these little kids. What's going on over here, whatever grown man or whatever, what you got to do with a little kid, they have nothing to do with it. So basically, like, there's some other stuff going on. Maybe somebody seeking revenge. Maybe somebody, deliberately doing this. And it just seemed questionable. The whole interview just had a lot of if, ands, buts, and maybes to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's the thing. But you got to understand, when you're in an environment of motherfuckers that don't give a fuck, and generally, I'm not saying everybody in the projects don't give a fuck. There's a lot of good people in bad situations, but it's a lot of bad people in bad situations, because it's not saying that they're just bad, but they make bad decisions. They got bad habits. You live in a bad environment. You got bad options, and so it's a bad deal. A lot of people in those situations don't care. It's all for self. They don't care about what's happening with those kids. Again, a dude with child pornography in his phone, that already tells you what it is. This shit got a bunch of kids. I wouldn't be surprised if he had shit going on with hurt children. I'm going to be straight up with you. Like, it's a fucking disgusting situation that could have easily been prevented. Moms, watch your damn kids. You had them, watch them. Oh, well, I don't get no time to this and I don't get no time to... It's a decision that you fucking made. That's a choice that you made. When you laid up, unprotected, or however it happened, whatever it may be, that's a choice that you made, and a choice that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your days, man. And so, that's what I'm saying. It's like, this could have been prevented. This was a preventable situation. But yet, negligence, ignorance, selfishness, however you want to look at it, created this occurrence. Marie Lovely, what's the motherfucking deal? Miss Meat, Angela, what's the motherfucking deal? Shelly Long, what's the motherfucking deal? Female Pimp. Hello, Female Pimp. And everybody else, anybody I may have missed, man. And I think Ronald Isley in the building. So like I said, give me a second. Let me get the phone line open. We'll take some calls. Like I say, I just caught on to this maybe a day or two ago, and that's because of some of the calls that you guys have called in and shared with me, and some of the information that you shared with me. And I went back and read, some of the news reports, try to follow the timeline a little bit. Yes, please hit that like button if you enjoy the conversation. If you like the channel, please subscribe. We do this live every night at 10 p.m. Central. It was a little bit late tonight, but we go for about 2 hours every evening live, discussing various topics, current events, life situations, relationships, politics, all the conversations that they say you're not supposed to be having. We definitely have in the den, and would love to, if you're new to this, love to invite you to become a den folk. We're a friendly community over here. Are we den folk? Are we a friendly? I think we're a friendly community. I think we're for the most part we're pretty good. Some folks just they're just not gonna get along, but I think for the most part we're very welcoming in the den. I think all the den folk have good intentions, and I think everybody's honest for the most part. I don't trust Angela, but outside of that, I think everybody else is pretty good. So opinions are welcome, uncensored. Be you, speak your mind. That is what the den is all about. Is that Miss Danny B. Moore in the building? Welcome, Miss B. Moore. I'm glad that you could join us. Chauvinistic is false. Shelley, you are a domestic terrorist. I'm going to put some pictures up of some of these people here in just a second. Let me get the line up. Let me get everything going so we can take some calls. All right, here's the number if you would like to call into the den this evening. And everything else like such. Let me get some of these photos together. And like I say, we'll take your call if you have some thoughts on this, something that I may have missed or forgot to mention, and we will get into it. All right, we got a call coming in. All right, how you doing this evening, Miss Bell? What is on your mind? How do you feel about this situation? I mean, we keep hearing these stories of these children, and a lot of these I believe could really be prevented and just this particular situation in particular. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm really perplexed. I know, good core word. Look it up. The point is that what I don't understand is where was the mom? And if she handed it off to the cousin, that wasn't the 11-year-old, was it?
No, I think the cousin was. I guess I'm assuming an older cousin. I think the 11-year-old, the and Cupcake were dropped off together.
It almost seems like chain of custody. I mean, it was everybody all the way along that chain. It was broken for responsibility. And here's my thought, and this is something that I find really sad in this particular generation, is that it's going on more than less. And I'm seeing it in a lot of different cities. The news in Charlotte tonight was as they caught two men that, or they, how do I say this? They arrested two men in the Cupcake case, and neither one were related to the other. They still don't know how and why it all happened, but they have gotten two suspects charged for her murder. And as far as I know, neither one of them knew each other before this particular situation. But my question is that, I shouldn't say question, the puzzle I'm going through is that I know I'm older, but in my generation, we looked out for the neighbor's kid, whether it was in the burb, whether it was on the farm in the rural, or whether it was in the hood. It was like your mama and your daddy knew what you did before you got home. Half the time you were in trouble with the neighbor, never mind your parents. And I remember being able to walk into some of the projects, and every parent could stick their head out and knew which kid was supposed to be there and which kid wasn't. And if you weren't from that neighborhood, where you supposed to be? And you got questioned. So in today's day and age, I can't speak for all cities, I can't speak for everybody, but I see it as a pattern of behavior. Nobody cares anymore, or they don't have time to care, or they don't take the time to care. I'm not sure exactly what all that's about. But I've also had relatives bringing their kids to a cookout and say, okay, y'all family, you watch them. And they baby's kids. And it's like, nobody got time for that. So, hey, I'm going to tell it like it is. And it only took a couple of years for that cousin to kind of like make sure she had an eye on her kids, or to make sure she knew exactly where they were. But it's not the street responsibility to raise your kids if you're not going to do it. And if you know that relative's not responsible, why the hell did you leave them with them? You know what I mean? As much as I'd like to put all of that on the parent, it is because she thought that this cousin was responsible, and obviously not. But there's going to be some accountability there, too.
Yeah, but if she wasn't invited to the party and she just knew about the party and just dropped the kid off because they were having a party, excuse me, what does that say about her and her decision making?
The cousin? Oh, she's absolutely, definitely, protective services definitely need to be called in on the cousin, at a minimum, because that is considered neglect.
But what I'm saying,
dropping somebody off at somebody's house without being invited, that's trespassing. And for a child to be there without any parental authority or somebody to watch out for her, that's completely neglect and abuse. And it's not the neighbor's responsibility to watch your cousin's kid because you don't want to. This is the part of the not owning up I'm having an issue with this generation. Not particularly everybody, but there are definitely huge pockets of it.
Yeah.
And, somebody said the other day in the den that I think that I'm a know-it-all. I would like to believe that I've gotten to an age where I have the wisdom to know what the difference is with my mistakes, and I don't want to frickin' do them again. So I'd like to share that rather than somebody else fall through the traps that I did. And I love the den for the fact that, yeah, there are times that we're brutally honest, But the fact is it doesn't mean that we're still not friends with those people, because I would rather be honest with somebody doing something wrong than hold it in and be resentful and walk away from a good group of people.
Yeah.
And it seems like we all do that a little bit here.
Yeah.
But that's truly kind of the supportive group that we are. And I am so way off topic, but coming back to that is that there was a whole chain of people that failed that child. It wasn't just the mother. It wasn't just the cousin. Well, the cousin was the last one. However, do we even know what their dad was? Because I didn't hear too much about that. None of the reports even talked about the dad.
The dad did a couple of interviews, and again, they didn't necessarily say where he was. He said that he got the phone call. I'm gonna be honest with you. That nigga was in the street somewhere doing whatever he does, whatever his craft may be, you know. So I'm sure that because he made some statement, you know, about the way he referred to the interactions with his children and some other things. It sounded a little bit that his behavior is questionable. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people who've done things and they've turned their life around. He may have a 9 to 5. He may, you know, it could be the case. But my assumptions, you know, my experience in my life, we're talking about experiences, say that that gentleman, you know, he has some ties to the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. The other question I ask is if the woman knew that the cousin wasn't screwed on straight, why leave your kids with them? The only reason my kids ever went to anybody was either my parents, well, my mom, or daycare. Other than that, or family. I mean, until you absolutely couldn't do that, my children, I knew where my children were at all times.
Yeah.
You know? That's what parents are supposed to do. I know that there are situations that it can't happen like that all the time. However, I would never leave my children with somebody I couldn't trust. And to me, it's a twofold situation. Is the mother for leaving them with the cousin? Is the cousin for neglecting the child?
But I put more blame on the mother simply because one doesn't happen without the other. And that one is, if you know that the kids weren't supposed to be, they weren't invited, you just took it upon yourself to go and drop them off to do whatever you felt like doing or whatever you thought you had to do. The rest of those situations can't occur without that initial domino falling. So I put most of that on the mom, you know.
And you mentioned that the 11-year-old brother was supposed to watch watch Cupcake too, right?
Something like that. That's what somebody in the chat said, I believe. I was
Okay.
reading it.
In most states, they don't allow children to stay home until they're actually 13 by themselves. They're not allowed to supervise anybody else until they're at the minimum age of 13 in most states. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, when I was growing up, it was a little bit different until these day and age where they had to actually put the lines down and say, you know, you can't do that. The other thing is what we were saying, that the mother said that she won't answer to her birth name or her government name.
Yeah, her birth name. She just answers to Cupcake only. Yeah.
That tells me that there may have been some, like, learning disabilities, that if she only answered to just her nickname, then there's something not right with that either. And I completely agree with you when you were kind of doing the head shake on that one. All children, I mean, you yourself know when your mom called you your full first, middle, and last name, you knew you were in a heap of shit.
Yeah.
So if a child, even at that age, doesn't turn around to their at least first name, that is definitely a problem. Unless the only thing they've ever called her is Cupcake, and that's the only one she probably would have known.
Yeah.
But that's sad. All right, I will let you go for the rest of the night and do what you got to do. I just dropping my info and trying to get this night started.
All right. Well, Ms. Bell, as always, the bell has rung. Class is in session. I appreciate you getting the party started and getting the Denline kicked off this evening.
And a way to start the weekend.
Ready.
All right, bye.
Have a go. Shout out to Ms. Bell. So, okay, so some say she went to work, some say she went to a football game. Whatever, she went to work, I mean, that would be an easy one to figure out. I mean, you have an alibi, you know, it's justified that you're there. But still, even, my thing is, just And I know some of y'all who may be new, it's 855. Don't worry, it's all free. You ain't got nobody's getting charged for calling if you want to call and share your thoughts. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hey, what's the motherfucking deal? This Lady Tia.
Lady T, how are you, Miss Lady T? It's good to hear from you.
I'm doing wonderful. I hate that we have to talk about this story because I've been praying for Cupcake since we found out she was missing. But what I don't understand, like they said in the comments, they wasn't even invited to the party.
Okay.
So how did, I mean, people, because they're having a party out there in the neighborhood, people are that ignorant. They say, I'll just let my child blend in with the kids.
I have no idea. I mean, that's something I couldn't even fathom doing. You know, if my presence or my child's presence is not wanted, I couldn't fathom leaving them there because again, nobody's assuming that hey, well, I'll watch your kids or I'll do this. You have no kind of confirmation, you know, that your kids are going to be secure.
I would be so on edge, like, where's my baby now? Where's my baby now? And where was mom? Why did the cousin end up getting Cupcake to begin with?
Female Mogul 86, appreciate that. She said the Facebook Lives from the mom revealed that she was actually at a football game and not at work. Shout out to Female Mogul, appreciate that. So apparently she wants to go do
at a football game without her baby?
Yeah, she wanted some free time for herself, apparently.
You don't get no free time when you got a 3-year-old. I mean, come on. She got an 11-year-old. I mean, really is. How old is this mom?
I have no idea.
Do you know how old the mom is?
Just looking at her picture when I had up there, she looks like she could be into late 20s, probably. I don't know, maybe early 30s. I'm just assuming. I don't know her age, so I'm just guessing from.
Which means she has multiple kids, and she's irresponsible and having more kids, and this is why mothers get a bad name for having multiple kids. When you have multiple kids and you're not taking care of the ones you had first, and you add another child to it, and now this baby is out there. I mean, another thing I didn't understand, the video shows those 2 little kids out there. There's no one around. So the party was over, I take it. I, as a mother, if it was a party, regardless if the kids were invited or not, I see it's nighttime. I see 2 little kids, as small as they was, out there by themselves. I would automatically get the kids and we'll go looking for mom. I mean, I wouldn't be able to shut my door knowing that these kids are out here. I mean, it's like everybody left at the same time. Yeah. Everybody went in the house at the same time.
So what somebody said was that that they took her home or they took her back to somewhere from the party, and apparently she came back because she was peeing outside. I might have misinterpreted that, but that's that. So apparently, like I said, maybe. Yeah, and again, if you're how do you get back? You know, if you were taken home or you're taken somewhere where you're supposed to be, and then that you come back. So again, it has to be a level of being a lack of supervision for you to find your way back.
Right. So somebody had enough sense. Somebody had enough sense to take the baby back, but whoever was watching her didn't see her go back out the door. Nobody was watching Cupcake. Looked like she was just going free the whole time. Because if she was able to get back out the house and come back outside, who was supposed to be watching her to stop her from going back out the door? The cousin?
I have no idea.
Where is the cousin?
That's the crazy part.
I mean, okay, I don't want to blame everything on the cousin because it sounds like the cousin is irresponsible. So it still goes to mom because mom is supposed to be the most responsible because that is her child. And to know that she's at a football game and couldn't take her baby with her, that means she couldn't go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's as simple as that. I was raised that way. My mom was like, I'm not your babysitter. If your baby can't go with you, you can't go. So she was at a football game, another child's football game, or, I mean, it's just ridiculous that this baby is 3 years old and she's not with her mom. She's too young to be even babysit at this point if her mom is not at work and not with her dad. Who house should she be going over? Nobody's, not at 3 years old.
I agree.
Nobody should be watching her unless her mom or dad is at work. And what's up with this ransom? The dad said something about the ransom. The mom was trying to get a ransom from him. So I was confused about the ransom. I
Okay,
don't know.
I didn't hear about the ransom part. Now, what I did hear the dad say, someone mentioned too earlier about how he kept mentioning, I'll pay whatever it is, I'll do whatever, I'll pay up. And so that's where I started having questions. Okay, well, what is really going on? If you know the money ain't a thing, or it is what it is.
But yeah, it was a ransom. It was supposed to be a ransom, and the dad mentioned something about the mom doing this before, and about he'll pay the ransom for his daughter, but he was making it seem like she was asking for a ransom. So I thought at one point, so do the mom got the baby? Or what? Because I was confused about the ransom. And I'm like, a ransom for a 3-year-old in the project. What? Who got money? I mean, who got money for there to be a ransom? Not saying that this baby is not worth money, but I mean, she's not the governor's daughter. She's not, somebody rich daughter. So the ransom thing, it confused me. Now, also another thing before I get off the line, it was someone went live on Facebook, or I think it was Facebook. It was like 3 women in a car, and they was talking as if they was behind the guy in the blue truck. They was saying, they was live, and they're screaming and saying, that's the truck and that's him and that baby in there. And what I couldn't understand is, and they was saying, we ain't got no gun. We not, basically like they're not going to stop him because they don't have no gun to go up to the van. But I mean, the truck, I couldn't understand why they're not calling the police. There's 3-4 women in the car. All of y'all got a phone. Y'all only using this one phone. And then someone in the car was like, I got to go home to my kids. I couldn't understand none of that. They were screaming as if they were behind the guy that had a cupcake, because I guess this was like that same night, once they said that she was missing, which was 3 hours later, they realized that she was missing. That was another thing. 3 hours later, they realized she was missing. Yeah. But this lie that from these other women, they were talking as if they were right behind the guy. Okay. And so I was like, if they was behind him, they could have stopped this if that was the case. And why didn't they never turn the camera on what they was looking at? It was just all confusing.
Yeah, and again, people do a lot of off the wall ass shit for it too, and it's sick that people do what they do, because because I'm just thinking back to, and I mean, this is unrelated. Like I think about, there's a little dude who, anytime like a celebrity gets killed, he did it when Nipsey got killed. That he'll play like he's the dude that got away, and people do anything these days. The attention is sick. Attention is disgusting these days, because people will do anything for it, just to, hey, look at me, and they'll say anything, do anything. I don't put anything past anybody, but I'm gonna look for that. I hadn't seen that, but I see.
They had me hyped up, because I'm like, okay, if y'all behind him, why ain't nobody calling the police? Why not y'all showing us who y'all behind? Get the tag number. It just, I don't know if it was the 15 seconds of fame or whatever, but one of the ladies was like, got chills running through my body as if it was happening right in that moment, and I couldn't understand, because they hadn't found Cupcake at this point, so I didn't understand that at all. So I seen that. I was just going through YouTube and seeing everybody reporting on it and getting different information. That was one thing that came out, and then it was another woman that was on Facebook, and once they found Cupcake, she was going off on the dad. She was saying, how you as a father, ever since your daughter has been missing, you out at pawn shops, and stuff, you out just living your best life as if you're not looking for your daughter. So she called her dad out on his ways, and I don't know what all that's about. But rest in peace, Cupcake. And rest in peace to the other little girl that was found, the 5-year-old as well. But it's sad that no one had the instincts to see those little kids out there and, hey, where's your mom? Or something. They were so small, there's no way I can walk past a 3-year-old that's out by themselves. There's no way I can walk past them. It's just, but that's it. I just want to throw a little bit more information out there. But it is 2 lives that from different people had went live. But it is a live where these women were in the car as if they was right behind the guy or whoever in that truck. Yeah. So check it out. So I'm going to get back in the chat.
All right, let's like it to you, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Have a good one.
Okay.
That shit is crazy, man. And that what you said about that, if you were on the live, why wouldn't you turn around the show, at least, get the license plate, provide evidence, show the location where you are. If somebody's watching that, seeing that is, that sounds like one of those cloud chasing situations. It definitely does sound like that. It's really a disgusting world that we live in. That people will take situations like this and just add some type of hype just to. I don't. Like, what do you get out of it? I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't understand the mentality of why people do this, why people find it necessary just because some attention is being given in a certain direction. Let me jump in because I'm nearby and just. I don't know, man. It's a disgusting situation. Well, what's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Yeah, Lee. How you doing?
Lee, what's going on, man? I'm doing all right, Lee. What's on your mind this evening, man?
Some old creepy shit, man. That's sad. But I was just wondering, because I want to ask you something. Because that first lady that called in, what's her name, Bill?
Yes, Miss Bill.
She seemed kind of taken aback about some of it. About like some of the differences going on now with people, but I think some people need to keep it 100. Some poor girls seem kind of abusive with their kids, and people might be misinterpreting what that one brother might have been saying about his daughter. Because would you say that some women use their kids against the father's leverage to get cash?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm gonna be honest, if you're looking at kind of how the mother looked, and I'm not saying that the dad, looked like a Dapper Dan or anything, but if we look at hood politics, if we look at let's be honest about it, you slugged out, to certain people, that's a sign of affluence in the hood. You know what I'm saying? He sound like he out there doing this and doing that. He say he got people here, there, and then looking all over the place. So some of the things that he was saying just seemed like. He may have something going on a little bit with him. I don't think that, he's with her. So he probably has some other things going on in other areas, maybe other chicks, maybe other things. He may have a little change. He may not be breaking bread with. It could be so many different things going on with that. And she could take it personally, emotionally. There's a lot of women who have, I won't say it's postpartum, but they regret having kids. Thinking that they was gonna get this dude, he was gonna keep him. Well, they fucking with him. Well, they trying to keep him, so they gonna have a kid with him that's gonna keep him around. That shit don't work, and so yeah.
They can hold the baby over his head. I'll put you in jail. Yeah. I do this to you. I do that. Blah blah blah. Whoopty whoopty woo. They use the baby like a fucking tool, so they don't really care about the child.
No.
Oh boy. And here's the other thing and stuff too. Like, a lot of people need to think about the historical fact of most of these chicks aim low.
Yeah.
Like, they aiming high. But then the thing is, they don't have any damn right to be trying to aim high anyways. Everybody pose. So why the hell do you think you need to be fucking somebody with a Bentley? Stop having that retarded ass motherfucker trying to run around and go to jail so he can't raise his baby because you trying to act like you can't ride in a motherfucking Pinto, bitch. Fuck all of you bitches with that bullshit. Big fat bitch looking like a big fucking donut and shit, fucking run around trying to tell this kitty motherfucking shit to try to fucking be Bill Gates and shit. That don't work like that. You uneducated, he uneducated. Why don't your big happy ass be cool with this motherfucker making you a PB&J, eating your fat pussy, and then fucking stop sitting up there running around having these motherfuckers go to jail trying to do dumb shit. Because your fat ass can't even fit in the panel. Pardon me for cursing this stuff, but I think they need to know that. And I'm still smoking on just a cigarette.
Please not no wet, not no wet, huh? Just a. I'm hoping that's just a pronunciation. I hope ain't no sherm on that stick, man.
No, wet. Like the bad motherfucker from the news. Remember, he took his mama's car.
Oh, okay, yeah. Doing hood rat stuff with his friends. I'm about to say, please don't be smoking no cigarettes.
Don't take it offensive. I'm not trying to say you my hood rat friend, and when I call you, I'm always smoking on cigarettes.
No, that's all good. Oh.
I always find myself doing that.
Okay. So my thing though is that you believe that the mother has more ties to this than she's giving on. Do you feel that way?
Do I feel what?
Do you feel like the mother has more ties to this? Cupcake's mom herself has more ties to this situation than is being initially let on. Do you believe that?
Yeah, guilt-wise, just flat guilt. Because here's the thing: if you went to go party, hang out, do any damn thing, and you left your kid that you had at a wedlock with some other knucklehead, and everybody wasn't watching your kid, and the kid dead, there's a little bit too much nothing for you. You have no leg to stand on and stuff. So, like, just imagine if, like, Old Testament God was looking at you, and you were like, oh, but shit, I wanted to play Nintendo and shit, so, I went to go play, 2-player, on Xbox, and I had to leave my kids and shit, and then the train ran over my baby because my baby just crawled in front of the train. It's your fucking fault, But here's the other thing and shit. Everybody else gonna have to admit they shady as hell, especially if two weirdos that didn't even know each other took the baby or whatever the hell happened. That's shady. But I did want to say something else too for a second, for a hot second. Like, isn't this some bull crap? Like, I can't crack jokes. You can't laugh at the jokes no more because some of them chicks up in there player hating on me. Old school player hating too.
Now, who hating on you, man?
You got to be deadpan. So if I say something hilarious and stuff, it's just got to be funny on the repeat or something. So like, they need to throw up with that.
Man, call them out. Who hating on you, man? Who hating on you, Lee? Call them out.
I don't even have a dragnet for all of the dang on the prepaid crew or whatever the hell and stuff. Like, I don't even got time to go through a roll call and knuckleheads. They kiss my ass, to be honest and shit. Because I'm gonna say what I got to say. Hey, because what I'm saying is valid. The thing is, like everybody keep it 100. A lot of chicks are abusive and use their kids to abuse the fathers, and they don't really care about the kid. The kid is a fucking afterthought. They look at, like, back in the days, there used to be chicks that would tell girls that I know grown women that are like 50 years old that told me that when they was shorties, they auntie and their mom would tell them to fuck a dude with a pager or a car because that means he got money. No, they don't. That does not mean nothing.
Man, it's some things that you said, and there's some truth to that, because, like I said, I have conversations with a lot of people, man. And if we want to be real and we want to have these real conversations that make certain people uncomfortable and things like that, it is true. And if your mom has a hood rat mentality, because hey, this shit goes back generations. This ain't nothing new, even though it's hood mice, hood rats, hood possums. This thing goes back generations. And if you had a grandma that wasn't about nothing, more than likely you had a mama that wasn't about nothing, and then she passed that on to you. And if you see your family being like that, you think this is normal, you're gonna keep encouraging this behavior. And again, it's a cycle. I mean, somebody eventually has to break the cycle. Somebody has to see something different to break that cycle. Somebody has to, give you this information to pull you out that cycle. But most people are not looking for it. They just think this is life. This is normal. This is how I was treated. I'm gonna treat my kids the same way. It's either for a check or to try to, get a man, or it's going to either be whatever it is. And then you realize I got all this burden. Because now that you're saying it, it makes me think, and I believe Ms. Moga said that she went to a football game. How convenient is that you just drop your kids off at a party that they're not invited to, you go to a football game, and then that just happens to be a night that something terrible happens. Again, I'm not saying it's this big, wide, crazy conspiracy theory. I mean, negligence causes terrible things to happen all the time. But this is just
we having issues though. Like this, you got to put this with this knowledge. There was a December 21st, 2017 executive order for human trafficking. That means basically people who sex traffic children up and down. That means females and little boys going from down to up. And it's the thing that people need to understand. It don't matter who fancy who and who broke the whoop-de-woo. None of that shit matter, because here's the thing. If you pimping, you pimp by volume, not quality. quantity. People who are trying to abuse people, they don't care. Like, this is the thing. There's people getting busted all across this fucking country right now with the most amount of child porn on their fucking computer. They just caught a sheriff in Louisiana and his fucking wife, and the girl was a teacher, and they was making and producing the porn, and she had the perfect job to bring kids for this pervert husband of hers and shit. If he was doing that and she was a teacher, who do you think most of the target fucking people they was attacking was? The school she worked at? After school program? You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So, like, a lot of people don't want to fucking deal with that fucking shit. But if you got a national emergency, that means that on the low, when you close your eyes, there's people that got their eyes open on some BS.
Yeah.
You're just not aware of how sick they are and what the hell they trying to do.
Yeah, because if you don't think like that, you got to have that mentality. And there's people, again, like I say, there's a lot of wolves out there, and a lot of people who are sheep trying to protect these wolves and don't realize that, you the next target. Yeah, you doing all this for them, but they don't give a fuck about these people who don't give a shit about your well-being. But here's the deal, we got the 10-minute rule on, man. And like I said, definitely, if we have some more free time, I want you to call back and share some more of your thoughts, because you got me thinking about a couple of things. But I know we have a lady on hold, and she's from the area. I definitely want to hear what she has to say.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is kind of sad, man. It's sad.
Definitely.
But I'll get back and stuff, man.
All right, that's Billy.
And everybody don't be butthurt about me talking shit, because, like, I wanted to be able to crack jokes. I don't even be trying to laugh. I felt bad as hell. Honcho was wanting to laugh at them last jokes I was trying to say.
Good.
I felt bad.
Sometimes laughter is a way of dealing with pain, and some people may not understand that. It doesn't mean that you care any less. Sometimes it's just a way of just kind of getting through the moment. You know what I'm saying? So.
The hood of nightmare, like some Spice One shit all the fucking time. So, like, a lot of people say we laugh to deal with some of this shit, because we be having to deal with nightmare shit all the time. People don't understand how stressful that shit is.
I agree, man. But that's a bad lead, man. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, see you. Stay up, man. One.
Man, you too.
Be safe.
All right. Shout out to Lee, man. See, y'all be hating on my boy Lee. Let me find out that y'all in there hating on Lee. I'm gonna get after y'all. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hello, hey. How are you? This is Female Mogul 86.
Female Mogul, you sound awfully bright and chipper. How are you, Miss Female Mogul? It's good to hear from you. So you're from the area, you were saying, right?
Correct. Well, actually, I'm from the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
And that's, of course, still in Alabama. But they are in Birmingham, and I think it's just really sad as to what's going on. But it's also very suspicious, because I think what I said in the chat is that on surveillance, the
Coulter
Birmingham,
Anubis donated $1.
detective,
Poor kid.
He showed a video, I think, last Friday. And this is after she went missing and all of that. And then they showed this surveillance video. And I'm trying to figure out why they didn't show this initially. And they showed, it was at night. It was a horrible video. It was very grainy. You couldn't barely even notice who was Cupcake and who was not, or it was two little girls. They were outside in that project area. I think it's called Tom Brown. You can Google this if you want to.
There's Tom Brown.
But yeah, they were out there, and then they showed one guy pass the little girls. It was late at night, 7:30. One guy passed, and the little girls kept playing. Then there was a second guy not too late after the first guy passed. And the second guy said something to the little girls, I assume, or we assume. And then he kept walking, and the little girls kept following him. And that's when the video ended, and that's when the two little kids, they moved out of frame. And that was the last time that we physically saw Cupcake.
That's terrible. Now,
yeah, it's horrible.
And I've been hearing lots of different things about who has been picked up. I had a picture on the screen of the ones that I saw. I believe it was his name slips my mind now. I think the lady's name was Derek Brown, and his was damn, it's just not coming to mind right now. But
yeah. Mr. Starworth, I think it's Patrick Starworth.
Yes, Patrick Starworth.
Like
yeah, absolutely.
But also, just kind of a tip, that female, her name is not Derek. Her real name is Quintessa something, Quintessa Smith or something like that. Of course, all of this is on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gave an alias.
Okay.
I'm assuming the first time that she was arrested, she gave an alias that said her name was Derek Brown or something like that. And then from then on, you know, I guess thereafter, whenever she gets arrested or got arrested, that's where they had her name as Derek in the booking system. So that's not even her real name.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
terrible. Okay. So, I mean, is there, and like I said, because usually when you're closer to a story, you know, different things get out, the community, different things get out in that area. Is there something that you're hearing, maybe something that they're not necessarily reporting in the news? Do you think that there are closer ties from the family, or, I mean, what do you all, as a personally, what do you think about this situation and how this happened?
I mean, honestly, when I first heard about the situation and all the sketchy surroundings, you know, about the story, we definitely went to the dad and the mom. Like, you know, who are these characters and who is the mom? And the mom kind of did a Brittany Bowen when she was interviewed, and she was, you know, everybody handles grief. First of all, disclaimer: everybody handles grief differently. So she kind of did this fake crying. You couldn't hardly hear what she was saying, and shortly after, or maybe before, the dad, he was interviewed, and he was, you know, talking and saying different things. Like, I think one of the interviewers asked him, like, hey, how can you describe Cupcake or anything like that? And he started grinning. I mean, I'm not a man, and I don't have any children, but if I was a father, I wouldn't, you know, grin and, you know, laugh. And, you know, it was also a video on Facebook. Here we go, Facebook again. The dad, he was actually in the car with a blunt in his mouth, and he was saying, well, Cupcake fine, and she gonna be all right. And, you know, him and the mom, they left the station, the police station, and the mom was talking about ransom. I think that's the part that you didn't hear about, is that he alluded to the fact that the mom was asking for ransom, and because she wanted money in exchange for him to see the kid, which is, you know, of course, is a sick game that, if that is true, women do play those little games like that. Like, if you want to see your child, hey, you got to pay me something. There's always some type of a leverage in these type of situations. But honestly, those were my initial thoughts as far as, like, it was the dad, it was the mom, and then there was another guy. He showed up on Facebook. I forgot his name, but he was saying something about that the dad owed somebody for drugs, and he would pay them people, and this and that. And I mean, it just went to circus, honestly.
And that's kind of wonder, because again, like I said, when I saw him talking, that's just it just something about it made me wonder, because there was a part when he was speaking, he was just like, man, you know, it's too much. And I think it was still relatively soon. I don't know what information they had, you know, for a grown man. Why involve a 3-year-old? Kind of, that's not verbatim what he said, but some along those lines, where he was just basically saying, you know, why have a 3-year-old? Why use a 3-year-old or something like that? They didn't have anything to do with it. So it's just the way he referenced it made me think, you know, hey, there may be some, you know, external beef with someone else. It may be a situation with someone else, and, you know, he may have some ties with another situation that kind of may have gotten closer to home than he expected or something like that. And so that's kind of where my mind was.
Yeah, I think everybody's mind was in that area, because, you know, again, we kept hearing different rumors and stuff that allegedly, you know, he's a dope boy and this and that, and he was trying to be something like Ghost or something off of Power. And he was, like he was, you know, trying to sell dope, but he got dope on credit, and he owed the people the money, and they can't, you know, it was just crazy stories like this. I mean, not to say that any of that is false, but I mean, it's ironic that it came back to the same people that they initially arrested. You know, I mean, we still at this point don't know if those people were any, you know, connection to his family or the mom's family. We just don't know. And I think what's important is that, thank God the little girl was found, but at the same time, we also have to keep watching the story, because more characters are going to reveal themselves. I feel that's what's going to happen. So.
Okay. Yeah, That's I mean, like I say, it's unfortunate because again, a young life, an innocent life, was lost unnecessarily because of people who didn't have her best interest, in mind. And again, another one of those unfortunate situations that I think we're seeing a little bit too much of time and time again. So that.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. I think in May or early June, it was the Malia Davis situation, and then now the little Hispanic girl named Dulce or something like that. She's missing, and then it was the other little girl that was missing. The mom got found, and then they were. I forgot the little girl's name, but she was just found maybe a day apart from Kamille Cupcake McKinney. She was found on the last field too. So I mean, it's just getting real crazy.
Again, I apologize for those of you who may have heard that crazy sound. I was trying to bring the video up in the background for those of you who may not have seen it, and it was doing something quite peculiar. So I apologize for that, for those of you who heard that band-like sound. Yeah, and again, like I say, it just does happen to them. But again, it's just crazy because a lot of these situations seem preventable, seem like it's happening unnecessarily, and just slight better decision making. But then you kind of notice some common ties in some of the behaviors and some of the people that are involved in it, and you just wonder, because they're not the first, they're not the last, and you just wonder when it's going to be the next time, because it's like almost inevitable that this is going to happen again.
Exactly. And then I'm not going to hold you too long, but just the last thought. I don't know whose video I was watching earlier this week, but they brought up a very good point. Before Cupcake was found, it said that if she was found and she was safe and she was well and all that good stuff, the question is, given the circumstances that she was outside by herself and the mom dropped her off, to someone that wasn't really capable of taking care of her. She went to a birthday party. She wandered outside, went to a birthday party. They brought her back because she was misbehaving. Then she came back out again. Obviously, no one is paying attention to her. And the guy in the video, or girl, or whoever it was, that made a very good point. They say, well, if Cupcake was found, safe and sound, what is the end result? Are they going to take her back to these same people, like her mom and her dad, or just to be up for adoption? At that point, because at that point you're endangering your child. So, yeah.
I definitely agree. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but then because we had a video, we talked about this a while back here, and we were talking about CPS issue along the time of the Malia Davis situation. We kind of went into, a lot of people shared those CPS stories where it's almost as bad with CPS as it is, with some of these people at home. I mean, there was just a story with a couple. They had a child. They weren't feeding them. They were just basically keeping the money or whatever they were getting for them. And they looked like they were some dope fiends too. But they weren't feeding the kid. wasn't dressing him. wasn't There were no hygiene. I don't recall. I don't think the kid died, but I think they got very sick. But again, it's just the CPS situation going to these other homes is just about, a lot of these people are only in it for the money. Again, it's just it's a crazy world that we live in, and it's almost damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and I think to expound on that or kind of piggyback on that, I guess, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just I'm just preaching to the choir. I don't know at this point, but we actually have to watch, as men or women, we have to watch who we procreate with.
Exactly.
We have to watch how we're using our bodies. I mean, at this point, we all should be adults and should know and should be conscious of what we're doing and what the end result is going to amount to. If you're not in a good standing and you have multiple kids, even if you don't have multiple kids, and you know that you're not in a stable position in your life,
Heidi Kleindienst donated $2 through Super Chat. Brandon is ducking me. Love you,
then
Honcho.
that's something you probably shouldn't be doing. You should probably not bring challenge in the world. I mean, before we get to the whole, stance of abortion, it's neither here nor there, but they have morning after pills, they have condoms, they have birth control, they have all of these types of different contraceptions. And this last tip, my grandmother said that, and my grandmother is 92 at this point, but my grandmother said if a woman wants to have a baby now, she must really want to have a baby, because they have too many things to prevent that from happening. So that's my little tidbit. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you continue to take other callers, and as we just finally speak with you.
Nice to hear from you, and I appreciate you sharing it. And your grandmother is a very wise woman, so thank you for that tidbit. Shout out to Female Mobile, first-time caller. I appreciate you calling in, and hopefully, you will continue to join us in the future.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. I mean, that is true. I mean, when you put it like that, yes, a woman does want to have a kid. She damn sure definitely wants to have a kid. And Coach, if it's not there, you got to probably hit the refresh button because I didn't have the super chats on there first. But Heidi is, well, we'll get into that later. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hey, what's up? This is Rashida. What's up?
Rashida. Rashida Reed. The most notorious moderator in all of the den. How are you doing this evening, Miss Rashida?
I'm doing all right. You know, I had to get my little research in on the case. You know what I'm saying? So I have a little info. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But one thing I do want to say is they need to just sterilize some of these bitches and these men. Period.
Do you think that should be a thing that they should bring back? I mean, do you what in your opinion? Because I'm a firm believer. I agree. I think that you fuck up, you have anything to do with children and harming a child, involving yourself in a child's life, women and men, I think you should be permanently disabled. If you understand what I'm saying, like, hey, cut the whole program off for you, because you see it time and time again. A person has a kid, especially women, they go and do something vile, go to jail for a little bit, come back out, and then have another one. Who stops them? But what in your mind would qualify someone for sterilization?
Mental illness, crack usage, just drug usage, unfit, too many kids. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Real quick, I don't mean to distract, because I've been waiting for Broderick to get back in here. Broderick, we have questions from the last picture that you shared, and everybody was wondering.
Coulter the Nubis donated $2 through Super Chat. Oh, cool! I can get text now.
Oh, I had watched the video. It's called Cupcake Spotted. It's on YouTube. You don't need to check that.
You said Cupcakes what now?
Cupcake Spotted.
Okay. Cupcake Spotted.
In that video, it was the three women in the car that the lady, I forget the her name, but she mentioned that earlier. They was in the car and they saw the car that might have had cupcakes in it. But it wasn't those two people that had cupcakes. You know who had them?
Who was that?
The father.
So they're saying that that blue vehicle that everybody was looking for, you're saying that it was the father had her in there?
It was a different car, some kind of Chevy or something.
Okay.
The father that he drives, that they had that baby over there by the mother house, Carson Road or something like that. And they was following him and stuff, and yeah, they did end up calling the police. I don't know, maybe that caller didn't watch the whole video. They called the police while they was trying to follow and keep up with him. And the mother was driving another car or something. I don't know what's really going on with that. But they say that he dropped the baby because the baby had a sheet on her, over her. And they dropped the baby about 3 times trying to get her in the car. So I'm thinking she probably hit her head. You know what I'm saying? And died. You know what I'm saying? It might be a case of like he trying to do a kidnapping gone bad, you know, because he had said that the mother did that to him before, trying to do some ransom type shit. So maybe he was in on trying to do some, payback shit to her. He might be the one that picked that cupcake and not that other man, they said.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, all of this.
I could never figure out how did the little brother get home?
I mean, like I said, all of this stuff is bullshit. And what it amounts to, it sounds like, again, I don't know about the validity and all that of that, but if that was the case, it sounds like people playing fucking games with these children's lives because they don't really give a fuck about them. And you see this all the time, and I hate to say it, some of us go out here and we think, and I'm not just going to say black folks. Y'all know I get on niggas when I think it's just niggas. It ain't just niggas. It's low class minded people as across the board, because I see it in all cultures. It's not just a black thing, but they go out here, can't afford the kids, don't have real intentions. Again, they have ulterior motives. They're thinking that the kid is either going to be that's going to keep somebody around. And again, it goes both ways. It's a lot of time it's women trying to keep a man, but there's men who will deliberately impregnate a woman thinking, well, oh, the sex good or whatever else, I'm going to keep her around. And they'll do some dumb shit like that because then, oh, she'll always be my baby mama or some dumb, just stupid shit like this. Niggas who think like that. You'll have women who want to have kids just because they don't feel love from anybody else. Well, if I had this baby, the baby will love me. And, we talked about that the other day, about treating these especially little kids, especially little boys, like your man and all that. So we talked about that. It's all kinds of different situations, and usually it's a lower class minded individual that is operating like this, and they're using the kids as pawns, not for what they should be. Hey, I want to procreate, I want to start a family, I want to continue my lineage or whatever it is, but I have all intentions of giving this child the best life, bring it into the best conditions, as opposed to fucking, I ain't got shit else better to do, I'm out here fucking with no rubber, let me go ahead and shoot the club up, let me have a couple of kids, and they spread all about town, they got brothers and sisters they don't even know about, and they all in the same neighborhood or whatever else, and you having these situations going on, man. And to me, it's that you don't care. Nobody cares about this. Oh well, it's like they're toys, almost like they little dolls and Barbie and fucking action figures and shit. Like, I don't fucking know, man.
Well, they shouldn't be seeing things in kids' lives. It don't make sense to me.
It's
I'm not saying that's when she died, when he dropped her or whatever. I'm just saying that's what the lady said. And they got it on live. They was, live during the time. And they had to call on there, too, when they called the police. So they're not lying. They're trying to clout chase. So.
The hell you talking about, Isley?
And then there was a report that they had found her cupcake alive at one point, but that turned out not to be. I'm wondering was that the same thing when that happened. So.
Yeah, it's just, I think that some things are going to happen soon enough. Some information is going to come out, and it could be something. But a lot of times we look at these stories and we make it complicated. We make it this and we make it that, and it turns out just to be some bullshit. Sometimes we make these stories so complicated we dive. We it just because it doesn't make sense that these things are able to happen, and the timing is so awkward. But sometimes these stories, it just turns out to be some random bullshit, and I guess it makes it hard to believe. Hey, negligent people, the kid outside peeing and doing this, somebody sees it from a distance. Well, guess what? Now, obviously nobody watching the kid. The kid is unable to protect itself. It's outside peeing, and so then bam, it go swoop in. A vulture comes in and takes off with the child. Like, it's a whole lot of just. These situations. It's just, it's disgusting when it happens to the children.
There were two little girls right there, and they only took one.
Mm-hmm. Now that's extremely interesting too. That's kind of something I did mention. I'm glad you mentioned that, because with it being two small children, why only take the one? And that's when you wonder. Exactly. That's when you kind of play the was it a targeted thing? Was it a, okay, this is planned out? But then again, if they took the child home to handle it, like how did the child get back out? How did it get in home? There's so many levels to this thing that. You just have questions, and in reality, the people who need to be answering these questions are the ones playing victim right now. So you're gonna have certain people who are around them saying, "Oh, you wrong for even questioning that. You wrong for even." No, these are the reason. These are the people that the reason that this shit happened. We've seen this story too many times again with people who are the ones who really did the damage. They play victim, and I want to just help find this, and I hope we find this person, and you be the one that did something with them. Sometimes there's questions that need to be answered, and The people who really need to be answering, somebody needs to be asking these people the tough questions. But unfortunately, when you're looked at as portrayed as a victim or whatever it is, nobody's going to do that. If somebody was to ask, well, what happened with this? What happened with this, and this, and who is this? You're going to be looked at as a bad guy. Oh, that's a grieving mother. She's grieving, or that's but she can't be that grieving of a mother if she.
She was on live smoking a blunt and talking to people.
No, she. Oh well, wow. Yeah. So. Yeah, if y'all are, if y'all new to this, sometimes
another
Brittany,
mama.
Yeah, another Brittany Bowens, and that's what I'm saying. But guess what? Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing about it. There's thousands of them out there, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
This is about 400 million people in America. I am going to go out on a limb and say that there are a couple of million of them out there. You know what I'm saying? There's terrible people. Oh no, there's a bunch of shitty motherfuckers, and they hang in shitty little groups. Because my thing is,
why do God even make them kind of people fertile? And then you got all these people that want kids so bad they can't have kids that would be good parents, and then the ones that don't need the kids are the ones that can have them just like that.
Yeah, they probably not. Maybe it's a gene that goes with a lack of compassion or something that just lets you pop in the motherfuckers. I don't know, but making light of the situation, it's a very unfortunate situation. But my thing is this, man. It's like,
I'm not making light of it. I don't find anything funny about the situation. It's all the way.
You said shout out to Bama Boy. Man, I ain't seen you in a minute. Bama, where you been at, Bama Boy? But he said the mother just checked into the psych ward.
She should, because she knows something.
That's
what you call it? The cousin, they said the cousin knows something, and she was on live talking about she can't talk about it either.
Yeah, that's.
You know what? It was another little boy that was at the scene, and he said he seen them switching cars. So that kind of threw me off about it being Patrick and that Derek Quantisha, whatever the hell her name is.
I'm telling you, man, and it's crazy. And yes, if
these three women in that car, I told you about the live when you watched that live. They was not lying. They know what they saw. They saw him dominate her father.
Yeah, see.
And they saw her alive. But she was alive at that time.
Yeah.
After she was reported missing. And see, that's another thing I want to know. What time was she reported missing? And where was she reported missing from?
So you said something about, ransoms and things of that. How much of this do you think might have been one of, they said that?
The father said that the mother had tried to do a ransom on him before, and he knew that she got the baby or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe he was trying to pay her back for that. What she did or something, and it went wrong. The baby ended up, something happening to her.
So, do you think that this could have been a play for, like, we've seen a lot of these GoFundMe scams and scandals and stuff like that? Do you think that might have been the original intention, hide the baby for a little while, get some money out of it, and all of a sudden she found or something like that? Or do you think that there was real intentions of this child, that it was planned beforehand for this child to lose their life?
No, I don't think that was planned. I don't think that was part of the plan. I think that was an unfortunate turn of events. As far as the money go, they say the father owed people money and stuff. And I don't know. I don't see it as no money play. You know what I'm saying? Because did nobody really, try to say a GoFundMe. It was more about trying to find her and other stuff. So, but we just need more evidence. And now I'm curious as to why the mother is in the psych ward.
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting place. Shout out to Bama Boy for.
It seems like she's trying to do a early how you said, like, planning her defense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they definitely said she was there too. She know that the baby was still alive, so she was driving one car, he was driving another one. That's what the three people that saw him.
Yeah. Really?
By the mother's house. Because I believe she lives close to Carson Road or something like that.
Dan Strong donated $5. This story has played time and time again,
We'll see.
and it's tragic every
I
time.
don't have too
Goodbye,
much more
young
than that,
lady.
you know, 'cause this case really bothers me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does. Appreciate the love, Dan. But I agree with Dan, man. It's just time and time again we see the same story, and you just wonder. Yeah, it ain't gonna ever stop. That's the world we live in today, and
How
that's.
many times are we gonna see it though? How many more kids got to lose their life behind?
It's gonna keep happening. If it's not neglectful parents, it's hostile environments where motherfuckers just don't give a shit. They because who was it just recently? I believe a small child got shot up in a car. Ain't have shit to do with nothing. And
I don't even want to watch the news no more. It's like I just saw another case with a mother. A mother let her boyfriend or something, the child too, and killed the child. Like, another black couple. I forgot the name. I come across it. I text it to you or bring it up at the next day. So, it's just too much.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I say, it's time and time again, and unfortunately, this won't be the last.
I saw another case where a guy, he was 25 and the family walked in on him raping a 6-year-old child. Like, how do these people get access to it? I didn't mean to say that to bring nobody else down or nothing. I know it's already, hectic in here, but, this shit just bothers me. Like, why are y'all just leaving y'all kids with these randoms? How do these people just get access to your kids like that?
And what did the family do, though? How did they respond to this situation? So did they just stop him? He ran.
No, he ran.
Oh, wouldn't have been no running.
Eventually, the police called him and shit.
Wouldn't have been no running. Yeah, shit, if you in a room and it ain't gonna be no fucking running. How you shit?
I don't know how you gonna get out.
They let him make it.
They'll bring your body out.
Now that's the one thing that I will give that this family. Damn, I keep forgetting his name. But she just said the name. Now they distance themselves from him because you have a lot of families who will come out and sit here and say, "Oh, they ain't do that. They wouldn't. No, not this. Not that's what makes me question old buddy because his family came out. They put out a statement. Hey, don't judge us because of what he did. We ain't got shit to do with that. But they said it much more formally. Because most families, my so and so will never do this. My brother would never do that. My cousin will never, and be knowing that these motherfuckers foul and filthy. But this family distances himself from this, so that definitely makes me think that even if not this person has had some issues in the past. There's definitely been some things going on with this individual. So he's not squeaky clean. I mean, he already had the child porn on his phone, so that makes him even more of a culprit.
You know what else I was thinking? I was thinking the father could know these people, have these people get the child, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because the kid said that they transferred the child to another cop. So I'm thinking, they did that as a ploy or something. So they could still be involved in it, so.
Yeah. So
I mean, you just got to watch that video, Cupcake Spotted. It'll give you light on it.
I'm going to take a look at it because, like I said, I definitely think that there's a lot of stuff going on.
Call the police, you know what I'm saying? Who wants to call the police? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless they really saw what they saw,
Yeah.
And they got the police, on tape too. The police recording when they called the police to say they saw the girl and the father. And the mother is another cop. Now, if they got the type of cars that the people in the video said, then there's some truth to it. So it's gonna all come out eventually. So.
Yeah, they're definitely going to find some things out in the next couple of days. And trust me, here's the thing. Law enforcement knows more than what they're letting on. Like, they always do. They if it's getting out to the public, there's a reason it's getting out to the public.
They said we had a lot of tips in this case, more than any other case they done had in a long time. So there's people out there that was really out there concerned and everything. And then what one lady said had me like, you right. Like, why is this lady sitting up on live while everybody else out looking for her kids?
Yeah, we seen that before. We already knew that was happening. That's what I say. This social media is terrible, but this social media is just bringing light to the people that's doing it, giving them an avenue to expose themselves as far as, So it is what it is. It's a terrible situation. Okay. Anything else you got there, Miss Rashida?
No, but as always, I keep doing my research and keep going in the group, gathering information, so I have something to shed light on.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I know it ain't a pleasant thing to talk about, but I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts.
I didn't have kids, I might not have kids, but I still love the kids. That's all I can say on that. Especially when it involves kids losing their life over nonsense and bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate that, and I really hate terrible kids. I really do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said, sterilization.
I agree. That might need to be something they need to consider enacting real soon.
Tomorrow.
Breaking news: sterilization legalized federally. I wouldn't even complain.
I got men, women, all of them, transgenders, all of them. Yeah.
Well now. All right. Well, that's a bit, Miss Rashid. I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts this evening. All right, you go.
Y'all take care.
All right.
Bye.
All right. I agree, Miss Shashan. It was a baby. She was 3. I mean, shit. And again, you can tell, like I say, it's just some things that that there was some neglectful action going on aside from all that. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
This is D the Gamma.
D the Gamma, how are you doing this evening, D? What's on your mind?
I am wonderful, thank you.
Good.
Well, I don't know. I have a little delay, so I'm hearing myself echo.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Whatever you listen to down on the background, can you turn it down a little bit?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, much better. Okay. So what are you thinking?
Okay, before the event started, I was watching the news, and they said that the child was suffocated.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, really broke my heart. But my thing is, I think the parents definitely had something to do with it. If they didn't, they know who did.
Yeah.
It just seems like a setup. Like, she's not going to be there to watch her child, and he wasn't there to watch the child. And I looked at his interview, and it just seemed like what he was saying, he really didn't have no emotion. And I know, being a mother, anything happen to my child, I'm going to be incoherent. You're not going to understand me. I'm not going to be able to talk. None of that. So I just feel like something is really going on that they're just really not getting the root to. But just like with the Brittany Bowen, I think the mother and the father have definitely something to do with it.
And I agree, because it just kind of smells fishy. You know what I mean? And it just it's one of those situations where the way everything just kind of played out. Again, sometimes things randomly happen, and it is what it is. But it's just, to me, that I don't know about that one. It's something questionable about just the timing of everything that happened.
And there was another situation, I don't know if you saw it, where there was a lady who was tossing around and blowing smoke in her newborn baby face. And they actually arrested her, but then they let her go, and she kept the baby.
Wow.
And she did this on a live.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, I saw a clip about that, but I didn't actually, I didn't see the thing, but I heard some about that. They just kind of let her make it. And it's crazy. I mean, it's like you almost wonder, who cares about the kids these days? Because in addition to that, I saw one about a babysitter, I believe. She was caught on film, like the family had recorded her. She was beating up the kids or something like that. And she got, I think, like 3 months of probation,
Yeah.
And so, just crazy.
It's younger parents having these children, and they really don't want the children. Instead of just giving the kids to someone who can take care of the child, they just abuse the child or kill the child, and it's just sad. I just think it's the generation that we're in now of people just not caring about anything anymore.
Mm-hmm. All they care about is attention, no matter how they get it, whether it's good or bad. And as long as somebody's looking at them, somebody's paying attention to them, that's all they care about.
Yeah. And I saw on, it's a podcast called Soto Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady who was talking about the Derek Brown, whatever her real name is.
Okay.
She said she grew up with her, and said how that name got out there. She was locked up in county where they're from, and she gave them that name because she never had been in trouble before or didn't have any records. So she gave them a false name.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave her fingerprints and everything with this false name.
Mm.
And that's how the Derek Brown name got out there.
Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy that this shit still work these days.
Yeah. But that's really all I got. I just wanted to say that, as we was coming on, I was looking at the news and they said that she was suffocated.
Yeah. That's the saddest thing, man, because look, everybody has to clock out eventually one day. But I'm telling you, if I have an option in how I gotta go, I would like to avoid drowning, suffocation, and possibly fire. Everything else, we can go how it goes. That's just one of the worst ways to possibly go out, and it's again unfortunate just for a child. It had nothing to do with an innocent child. Like, that's the thing that bothers me the most is the innocence of children. They didn't ask to come here. They didn't ask for any of these things. And the child is going to respond to the way that you raise them or whatever it may be. And so the fact that if that child was a problem, it's because you made them a problem or you just neglected or whatever it is. And then just the fact that she was peeing outside, that's fucking terrible in itself. And then you all these other things. And then to top it all off with her being suffocated, it's a real fucked up situation, man. And it's like...
I hope they fry whoever. They got the people that did it, but I hope they throw the book at them.
Yeah, me too. And like I say, we're gonna find out some more soon if there are other ties and other things going on, because it just seems questionable to me. Something seems suspect in this whole occurrence.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I appreciate you. That's all I have.
All right, well, Ms. D. It's good to hear from you, and I'm glad you called in and shared your thoughts, so I appreciate that.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you. Hold on 1 second. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
Man, I got a call twice in one night. You know it's Belle.
What's on your mind, Miss Belle?
Okay, first of all, didn't get my early bird special. I got my early bird specials. I didn't get first caller pistachios tonight, and I didn't get them last night. Actually, didn't deserve them last night. I wasn't first last night, so we'll go with that. All right, I'll own that one. But I didn't get them for tonight. Now, something Rashida said, I got to agree with her, but I can't as much as I'd like to. I personally agree with her, but I know why I can't. She was talking about chemical castration for women that shouldn't have children. I want to say maybe 30 years ago, between 30 and 40 years ago, there was a huge court battle over that because there were females that had Down syndrome that they were chemically castrating so that they couldn't have children. And it became a civil rights violation of these women's right to be able to give birth. And so even though somebody is a bad parent, how they look at it is, yeah, they screwed up now, but they might get the help, so later on they might be a better parent. Obviously, yeah, it doesn't always work that way. So that's why I agree with Rashida that, yeah, I'd like to say that we can do this, but because it's a civil right violation, there's no way that they're going to let that go on. Now, do I agree it should happen? in extreme cases, absolutely. But would you want to be chemically castrated? You know, I mean, just to know that you were not a good parent, knowing that you could get help and be better. Now, if you don't want kids, that's another thing. You can have that as an option. But the courts won't let that happen, as much as I would love that to happen with some really bad parents.
And my thing is, though, but I mean, I think that I don't think it should be just because you're a bad parent. I think if it's a point of negligence to where death or serious harm is involved, you know, life is a precious thing. Unlike, you know, when you're still in materialistic stuff, you're still in jewels or money or whatever. That's all shit that can be replaced. I think if you put a child's life in danger, and I mean deliberately, not, you know, a situation where it was just an unfortunate accident, but I mean, you know, that your actions led directly to this child almost dying or possibly dying. I think that there should be a situation where you should be prevented from being able to have children. I think that, you know, it should be a lengthy investigation so that once it happens, you know, that there's no coming back, so that there's no mistakes made. It may, you know, hey, if you've been found guilty of this, you know, there's going to be a certain amount of time in which, if you're serving a jail sentence or whatever, that before that sentence is up, you're going to be chemically castrated, you know, to make sure they go through all appeal processes, you know, give you all your opportunities to utilize your rights to prove your innocence or whatever it may be. But if you're found truly guilty and that's it, then I think that should be the case. You know, again,
I am in complete and utter agreement with you. I just don't think that the courts have caught up with how to do it best and what is considered an extreme case and how to do it without all the loopholes and different things. In addition, as far as, child molesters, male child molesters, they have been chemically castrating them for probably the last 15 years. But it has to come with their permission, knowing that they're doing it for quote-unquote betterment. If they say no, they have to stop all of the medications that they're giving them. So, because of the fact that it's still a civil right issue, and the only reason that it hasn't been put in place for women is because it's a permanent situation. Had it been like they can take a pill and once they've got therapy they can stop taking it and whatever, it doesn't work that way. And with the child molesters, they have a right to say no because they still have civil right. And the other question is to the audience, when does it become police or martial law saying that these people don't deserve the right to do that if they've gotten the help that they need? And as we very well know, people slide through the cracks all the time. Mm-hmm. If things were perfect, this child never would have died. But because accidents had happened in a chain effect, this child lost her life. Mm-hmm. And I would love to say that, you know, by castrating women or putting it in place that it's going to change things. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a bad idea on extreme cases, but who do you select to be the first one? And what do you use as a threshold of proof needed in order to do this step?
Yeah. I mean, I think it should have been started way back when who was it? Was that Andrea Yates, the one who drowned all her kids?
Five little boys.
Yeah, and then ended up, I think, still getting out eventually and having another one. Like, I think she had went to they put her in a mental asylum or something like that, and then I think she ended up having another one or something like that. But again, that's when it should have started back then. That's kind of when I remember kind of thinking that idea, because once you've done something like that, one is one too many. You shouldn't. There's no forgiveness. You don't have the option of, you know, getting this treatment. I don't feel remorse. If you've taken the life of a child, if your actions have done that, then, you know, oops, sorry, it is what it is. If a person, you know, generally commits a felony, there's certain activities that you can never participate in again. because of the legal status. No matter how long it's been, it could be a decade, it could be 20 years, whatever, because you have that stain on your record. There's certain jobs you'll never hold, certain positions you can never acquire. It's almost like that. But, I mean, and not all felonies are life-threatening or drug-related. It could be, what do they call it, a felony of... It's kind of another term for integrity. I can't think of the word right now, but that keeps you from holding a lot of government positions. So my thing is, you're out. I mean, one strike, you're out. It is what it is in certain situations. But if it involves a life is the end all be all. You know, my thing is my principles are kind of based on that, life and death. You know, everything else can be replaced. I don't take anything else super serious because it can always be overcome. But life, when you bring a life into this world, it changes your life. You have to adjust. You have to. When you're responsible for a life in this world, you have to adjust. You have to change.
Heidi Kleindienst donated $2 through Super Chat. Welcome to the den, Evelyn.
Damn, Heidi. Appreciate the love, Heidi. But when you take a life, it's a permanent thing. When you're involved in the loss of life, it's a permanent thing.
Man Cave Sports TV donated $24. Honcho, you work harder than ugly stripper.
I mean,
What did she do?
Man Cave, I appreciate the love. Man Cave says I work harder than an ugly stripper. Man, I appreciate that. I don't know how hard do ugly strippers. That might be another day to talk about. Something I've seen some ugly strippers get some love. You know, hey, if you're a talented ugly stripper, you can get away with some things. Appreciate the love.
If you ain't talented, then it's the dollar store menu, right?
Yeah, straight up. Roger, I feel you.
No, but the point is, though, is okay, this is the question. When is it a civil right violation, and when is it protecting the general population for this person not to reproduce? And that's really where it comes down on the line. By this person having more children, they're expecting the government to take care of it because obviously they didn't take care of the first one.
Exactly.
And on the other hand, what about the woman's rights? Say she gets counseling and things get better for her and she has the withdrawal to have another child.
Well, she doesn't get that choice. I mean,
okay.
you had an opportunity, and unfortunate as it may have been or whatever happened, she doesn't get to have that choice again. You lose that right. That's how I feel about it. The same way, like I say, I could go back and try to do this, that, and the third with the little stains I have on my record. There's nothing I can do about that. There's certain things that they're there. I can't revoke that. And certain, depending on where you're at, you can't vote. You can't do this. You don't have the right to have a firearm. I've never done anything violent towards another person, but I don't have that right to protect myself. I could give a damn about her having the right to have more kids. She shouldn't have it.
Okay, and this is the devil's advocate approach here. Mm-hmm. Because you're a man and you're not carrying a child, what gives you the right to tell a woman that they can't carry a child?
If she killed a kid, I have all the rights in the world by not having ever killed anybody to say you shouldn't have an opportunity to recreate that position.
Okay.
I mean,
you have that right.
That's how
no.
That's how I feel.
And I mean that in a dialectical way, in the fact that you have a right to your opinion. I have a hard time with that because of being female and somebody telling me whether or not I can do something with my body.
Mm-hmm.
If I choose to give up that right, it's one thing. Now, I like you, I have not hurt anybody, and I have done my very best to keep everybody in my surroundings alive. You know,
but
so
here's where I'll differ with that, though, because when you talk about taking care of your own body, and that's one thing. I can respect the woman's right to her body, to her own body and what she does. But once that child is out living and doing something, and once she's created a situation where it's harmed and caused life, that's no longer her body. That's another living being in which she was responsible for. And that's where I think you lose that right. That's where it becomes a different situation. If it's whatever else you got going on, you're right, your body, I can respect that 100%. But as soon as you off a kid or something, neglectful, you don't have that opportunity. I don't think you presented with that opportunity again. I mean, because again, it's no longer your body. You're creating another life that you're responsible for. You've already proven that, you can't handle that. I don't think you get a second shot. I think that's where the line should be drawn.
Or there's also the other option: if a person chooses to have that child, put them into a situation where they have to give up that child to a healthy family.
Yeah, something like that. I could be okay with that too. But you don't get to have rights over that child. Period. I mean, that's.
I agree with you, but the thing is there's got to be more than one option on that situation, not one dire thing by, okay, let's chemically castrate, you know, give it another option. Well, put the child up for adoption. You know, let that child have a real healthy life. You know, who knows? I mean, things happen. And sometimes kids can get adopted into families, and then shit happens down the line, too. There's just so much different things that happen in life. I want to put a prayer out for this little child because it's just, wow. It's so sad. She's such a beautiful little girl. And for life to be lost so young, it's just sad when, you know, dreams aren't going to come true.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, trying to lighten that up on a better note. It's awesome. We've had so many good people in the den tonight, and I am so looking forward to seeing more people come, all the newbies coming into the next session. That would be really cool. And don't forget to hit the like button because it does matter.
Yes. Thank you for that, Miss Bell.
You know I always do that. That's my thing.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything else on your mind this evening?
Nope. I'm just glad to have a good Friday.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling back in and sharing your thoughts, and I enjoyed the little the back and forth. It's always good to kind of expand your thought process on certain things.
Okay. On this last note, when are we going to be able to have a what is that? Is it the Breakfast Club that has like the three people basically talking heads?
Yes, that's a terrible show. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So you're talking about the debate.
It was a bad example, but it was the only one I knew that we would have in common.
You mean like the debate dens that I've been?
Yeah.
Man, I'm not. I don't want to ruin anything, but soon. I was running out of time today, but soon we're gonna do something. I'm working on a couple little things. I want to have some fun with it. So
what you're telling me is this is on the marquee for coming soon?
Yes, coming soon. Very.
Truth Hurts donated $5 through Super Chat.
Okay.
Not every woman that has a child deserves to be a mother.
Okay.
They're just meant to have the child, not mother the child.
Good night, and have a good one.
All right, Miss Bell, I appreciate you calling. You have a good night too.
All right, bye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, man, I was cooking up some stuff with the debate. But here's what's going to happen when we do have the debatings. First, Truth Hurts. I appreciate the love. Thanks. Not every woman that has a child deserves to be a mother. They're just meant to have the child, not mother the child. And I can agree because there are. It's funny that I believe Rashida was talking about how some of these women seem like the most fertile don't be giving a damn. And then the ones who just want it so bad that they don't have to take the fertility treatment. They do all these things and it's just a struggle. And sometimes that might be. Maybe the nigga that y'all love, he might just have some weak sperm. Y'all just don't want to tell that nigga. He better step his game up. But anyway, that's making light of the situation. But I agree that there's a lot of terrible parents out there. And it's not just mothers, it's fathers too. Because a father isn't just throwing some money at the problem. A father isn't just, pulling up once a week, just go to party. I mean, a father is an everyday part of that child's life to help establish, the perspective. I'm a firm believer in the masculine and the feminine. The mother provides the emotional support, the feminine perspective, hey, to understand certain elements of yourself. The father, I think, is to provide the more stern, the more logical perspective of things. And I think both sides are needed. It's not to say women aren't logical, because I know y'all gonna try to cancel me. But I'm just saying that a child needs both of those perspectives. So I talk about the little one, right? And when she plays soccer, mommy likes to be kissy after every little water break, and I hate it. And you play good, you perform well, then you get your hugs and your congratulations after that. Like, it's just different energies that come to it. That's a bit, man. Cave, Let me see. The line is free. If you want to call in, or do you want me to call you like after the stream, man? Okay, because the line is free now. If you want me to. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. Let me call you because I forgot it's after 12 because I got started late. I'm gonna call. Let me call Mr. Man Cave, and then I think that we can make it. I'm not denying love. I don't deny the love. When they mix baking soda with crack makes it extra fertile. Yeah, it increased the fertility. It may have dried some other things up, but hey, Jack, it is what it is. I don't deny the love. I want her to be focused. I want her to be more concerned with, giving that energy to her teammates. I want her to be more concerned with, the task at hand, and that she doesn't need my reaffirmation after every single thing that she does to be successful. Because then what's going to happen is she's going to think that every task that she has to do in life, she needs somebody to reaffirm, good job, good job, good job. When she knows and she can be confident in doing what she does in her own spurts, in her own time, I think that makes her stronger mentally. Hey, you don't need me to tell you this. I'm going to coach you up. I'm going to say, okay, hey, you could do this better. Hey, when you go back out there, do this. All right, hey, you need to be more aggressive, or you need to, quit worrying about this, that, and the third. After the game, we're going to talk about it and all that. But just because you ran down the field and you get a water break, I'm not going to hug you and do all that other stuff. No, that's mommy wants to do that. And I get on her about that. Look, stop doing that shit. But that's just the mama bird, and that's just kind of how it is. My personal perspective is I'm gonna be more. And this is the guy right here that they man, I got great soccer. I have the best goalie on the team. The coach loves the little one for the goalie. I'm telling you, look, hey, all I'm telling you, once I told her, hey, get that. Once I taught her that defense, get low, bend your knees. You know what I'm saying? Move side to side. She's the coldest goalie they got. But I'm telling you, that little girl last week got plastered. Oh, it was tough. That right there, that is the guy from the other picture with the woman. But this is him, I guess. These are some of the photos that they had of him shortly after the event. And so that's why I wanted to show these pictures. Hey man, come on, 335. I've been working with I see a couple of text back. All right, there's 2 more calls we're gonna take. I'm gonna take Man Up's call, and then I see those of you who text me, and I will get your 2 calls in. So give me just a second. And what is it? It's Friday night? It's Friday night. Y'all want some mixer action tonight? Yeah, y'all let me know. I need to finish up World War Z. I'm still debating on getting that Call of Duty. I know I don't need to. I'm wait till Black Friday, but the irresponsible part of me says do it. But I'll probably just do some mixer action. I gotta finish World War Z. I finished that other one, that first round, and then we'll Shannon's here. Show's over. Man Up, aka Man Cave Sports TV. What is on your mind with this case right here? What is on your mind, when you hear what's going on, what happened here in Alabama?
Well, let me first by saying this here. I didn't hear anything that happened to the little girl, but I am going to say this here. I'm just going by what you're saying when I first caught you, and when with the I forgot her name that was talking when I first joined the show. But let me just say this here real quick. I agree with you, man, that a lot of things that we do in life, we lose the opportunity to do so much. Like, for example, I told y'all before, I caught my felony just by being around somebody that committed the felony. I didn't do it; somebody else did. But I lost a lot of privileges and a lot of opportunities to get certain jobs in life because of somebody else's actions. You see what I'm saying? So when it's a cause of your own actions, of course you should lose a lot of privileges. And you brought up a good point. Well, let's just put it like this here. I know you said you didn't want to see the movie, but I'm just going to go off the movie Brian Banks. And he didn't break that woman, but he lost a lot of privileges. He couldn't even go to his own nieces and nephews' birthday parties because he couldn't be around kids. You see what I'm saying? So when you committing crimes yourself, you don't have no rights whatsoever to tell nobody else, well, this is my body, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, at the end of the day, when you harm an innocent kid, that stuff gets thrown out the window. I'm sorry. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think it should get thrown out the window. I'm not saying that a woman don't have a right to do this or do that, but when you're harming other kids, when you're messing up someone else's life, that can't defend for themselves, then yeah, that gets thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And another thing is this here, man. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Excuse me. When you were talking, I was saying this here. You're right. Just because I might got a like that woman that licked that bluebell ice cream, that's a felony.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't cause harm to nobody. She didn't punch, kick, try to run over nobody, nothing. Now she can't. That's if she got caught. I don't know for sure, but let's just say she got caught. Now she got a felony on her record. Mm-hmm. Now guess what? She might not. She can't leave the country. She can't get certain jobs because all they're going to see is felony. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And you're right. You did not harm a child. You did not harm nobody. But because you got a felony on your record, that puts you in a certain category. Now, when a dog kills a baby or bites a baby, tries to attack a baby, we kills that dog. Mm-hmm. Why we can't have certain laws, something of that nature? I'm not going to say kill a person, but of that nature when it comes to a human being harming a little child. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Especially, what about what y'all saying, that it might have been a continuous thing over and over and over. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking from a parent's point of view. And most of y'all that see me, y'all seen my little girl. Mm-hmm. So I'm speaking from a parent's point of view here. If we put down a dog that harms a child, how come we can't have some kind of same kind of laws or rules or whatever you want to call it when it comes to a person harming a child? You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying kill people, but something of that nature. What? I don't know. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head, but something. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I agree with what you were saying, Honcho. When that lady called back in, I forgot her name again. I forgot her name too, golly.
Miss Bell.
But yeah, Miss Bell. When she said she called in the second time, she was playing devil's advocate.
Yes.
Now I see her point, but to me, it's like this here. It's like a pregnant woman doing drugs or smoking cigarettes when she, while she's pregnant. That, to me, in my eyes, is attempted murder. Mm. Because you know damn well that can cause harm to that child. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you remember this story a while back. I want to say like 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it was, that this lady got into a fight with another lady while she was pregnant, and the one lady shot the lady in her stomach.
Yeah,
I think killed her baby.
Wasn't that in Alabama too, or Arkansas?
I think that was Alabama.
I think that
was Alabama. Okay. Now, my point of bringing that up is, who would you fault? The woman that's pregnant or the woman that's not pregnant? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Me personally, I would fault the woman that's pregnant, and the reason why is, yeah, your emotions running high, you want to go whoop some ass, but you got to think about that child. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to put all that to the side, for that child's sake. Then once you have the baby, you go do your own thing. Don't harm that innocent child, or don't put that innocent child in danger, is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's my point in saying that. So she is just as guilty too. Yeah, she got shot, and she's the one that suffered and all that stuff. But guess what? She's the one that couldn't put her emotions and her feelings to the side for the well-being of that baby. When that baby's born and that baby's okay and she's back to normal health, up to doing whatever she want to do, they ain't gonna handle her business. Mm-hmm. You can't put that shit to the side. Something is wrong. So I say this here. I agree with you. Once you cause harm to an innocent child, you have no rights. It's just like if you committed murder, you have no more rights. They throw you in jail. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? So what's the difference?
Because I think it's too sketchy to allow a person that opportunity again. Because then what happens if they do it again? Then what happens? You're like, well, we tried, or again, like that first life lost is one too many. But allowing another opportunity to do it I think it's too big of a risk, regardless of all the therapy and all the things in the world. I think it's just I really feel like it's too big of a risk.
I 100% agree with you, man. I find no fault in what you just said. I agree with every word. The only thing is, and I'm saying this here, is that we as a country, we need to come in and step in when it comes to things like this. We got to say, okay, look, I know y'all have human rights, and that's fine. But once you, just like I said, once you commit a crime, they take away your human rights. That's why you go to jail. You have no more rights. How is this any different? And like I said, I don't know the full story. Matter of fact, I don't know the story at all. I'm just going by what I heard y'all was saying the few little minutes that I was listening. And so that's what I'm going off for. Now, excuse me. Now, going by what y'all was saying, that it seemed like that when you said she was peeing outside, and y'all saying that this was a repeated thing, harming this child. Come on now. How much do it take for one person to keep harming a child? And then here you go, you're going to give this person the opportunity. You throw her in jail. Okay, she might get out. Then she's going to have another baby. And like you just said, you're putting that other child at risk. You see what I'm saying? And then not only that, the internet, the world is a strange place.
Yes.
Because you can look back on things and find old stuff about your parents, about your history and stuff like that. And especially with the DNA things, they could say, oh, you had a sibling that died when they was 3 years old and your parents never told you. Now you messing up your own life is messed up. It's like, wait a minute. My mom had killed my sister, you know what I'm saying, when she was 3 years old. What the hell? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's that. And you know what? That you mentioned a very good topic, and I think that's something we're gonna have to talk about with this the future, the children of the future, and the internet that's going on, because people do so much shit, and they're so self-centered on the internet right now, and eventually you're gonna have children. The shit never dies off the internet, and we need to talk about how this is going to impact a lot of kids in the future, because this is it's crazy. Not even just the the violence, but even just the wild and crazy stuff that people are doing. So I think the next time we get an opportunity, that might have to be the next den when you can get one in. I'm gonna save that topic.
Okay, then I'll let you know what's up. But excuse me, sorry. But and then I'm looking at this guy here on that you put up on that picture. Well, first let me go back to those two ladies. The one that was on the left, that's probably my left or whatever. Was that the mom and then also another daughter or something? Because it had two ladies up there.
The one on the left is the grandma, and the one on the right was the mom of the little girl that got kidnapped.
Okay. So those two basically let something happen to that little girl.
Yeah. If you didn't catch it, I'll give you the gist, the rundown. Basically, what happened is the mother, here, I'll put them back up here so y'all can see them if y'all hadn't seen them. The mother, there on the right, had a daughter named, what they called her Cupcake, named Kamille McKinney. And she was abducted basically from in the projects, playing outside, her and another little small child, but only Kamille was taken. And you can see him on a camera late at night. But basically, the mother dropped her off at a children's birthday party, or with a cousin at a children's birthday party that the child was not invited to. Then apparently after the party, they took the kid back to where she was supposed to go, and she got back out again, which shows that nobody was concerned with the well-being or where the child was or what the child was doing. And so she was outside playing with another small child in the middle of the projects, peeing outside and doing whatever else. Kids just, they're just kids. They don't know any better. They're going to do whatever. No shoes on. Just outside again, like I say, late in the evening or later at night. And so then what happened after that, like I say, after she was kidnapped, the two people I put up there earlier, the gentleman, I believe he was in the maroon shirt, and the chick in the white prison garb, jail garb, whatever you want to call it, those are the ones who allegedly took them. Now, one of the guy who was on the left, he had already been caught with child pornography and things like that in his phone, had some weed charges and stuff like that. That's the same guy that was in the photo that I just had standing up, the last couple of photos in the store. That's him, I guess shortly after that incident that they had some imagery of him. So, like I said, just a lot of sketchy stuff going on. But the mom dropped her off again, like I said, to an unwanted birthday party while she went and attended a football game with her and the 11-year-old brother. Well, she left the little girl and the 11-year-old brother at the uninvited party while she went off and went to go watch a football game.
That is sketchy already right there, boy, what you just said. If my child is invited, which a lot of my coworkers have, things going on with their kids and, parties or whatever. And they were like, hey, will you bring your little girl? I said, okay, yeah. But I'm there the whole entire time.
Exactly.
I never leave my daughter. You see what I'm saying? Even though my daughter, like a couple months ago, went to one of her classmates' birthday party, I was there the whole time. Even though I was dead tired from work, still had on my uniform, and I'm at work. Well, not at work, but, I'm there at their house with my daughter, while they playing, busting up the pinata and all that stuff. Yeah. I was right there. You know what I'm saying? I was there. So, but the fact you're going unwanted was a problem. It's a red flag, I mean. Then that you drop them off unwanted is another red flag. Then to me, that somebody bring the child back with no shoes on, another red flag. Then the child peeing outside, to me, is another red flag. Now, I know kids will be kids. But there is a thing to where you set boundaries and structures, no matter how old that child is. And from going by that picture that you had up of the little girl, she looked like she was about like 5, 6 years old.
3. She's 3.
3? Okay. So, yeah. So that's definitely a no at 3 years old. That child should be saying, I got to go potty, try and go to the restroom or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean by, I think it's all this what you just told me. It's a bunch of red flags right there. And so, and then by that picture you showed where that guy was walking out of a store or something like that, in a store or whatever, with his hands up like he's celebrating, and you said that was right afterwards. That's another big red flag to me. You see what I'm saying? Even let's just say he's not the father, that's still a red flag. He don't have to be the father. It's still a red flag right there.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, there's too many suspicious activity that's going on right there. You just gonna leave your child to go watch a football game. First of all, I love football, but my daughter's always with me. Yeah, I mean, if y'all a fan of Saw Sports, y'all seen my daughter pop up on the show with me while I'm doing the show with Honcho. You know what I'm saying? She's right there with me. You know what I'm saying? In today's world, it's hard to take your eyes off your kids. You know what I'm saying? In today's world. So, like I said, all this stuff that's going on that you just explained to me just don't sound right to me.
No.
So it's just suspicious. But I'm gonna go back to what I was saying because golly, I forgot her name again. Golly, I am getting old.
Miss Bell.
The one that called in the second time.
Miss Bell, yes.
Yeah. Now I agree with what she was saying. It's not, as a man, we shouldn't have something to say about a woman carrying a child and blah blah blah. That might be true. But look at it this way: when a man be having so many kids with so many different women always tend to tell us we need to put a condom on, we need to go get snipped, we need to keep our dick in our pants, all that stuff, right? So you're basically telling us what to do with our body. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So at the end of the day, guess what? When you when you committed this crime against an innocent child, we have no more say-so. I'm sorry. Just like they like to say we don't have any say-so when we out there sleeping around with Tom, Dick, and Harry, you know what I'm saying? We're all, you know what I'm saying, just trying to get with anything. Guess what? And I can agree with that. Yeah, but man's out there with goddamn 20 kids by 20 different women. Hell yeah, you need to do something with that thing.
Yeah, I definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but now here's where I find fault though, and I can agree with that. But I think the line is drawn. I feel like if it's mine, I don't care, all the other stuff. Like, I can't tell a woman what to do with that man baby or whatever else she got going. That's not my place. But if it's mine, look, y'all can have all the rules and standards and rights and all that you want to. I'm going to have a say-so. Because, one, y'all know I don't have any biological children of my own. And the way that this world is turning, that is probably going to remain permanent because there's too much crazy shit going on. I'm not even talking about shit like that. I'm talking about the other stuff like the shit we talked about last night. But that if I was to, I'm going to have a say. So I don't care what anybody says. And two, because if we weren't together, if it was a situation out of wedlock or some other stuff, she sure as shit would have a say so to my pocketbook for that child support. So again, I know that we have all these ideologies and beliefs, and that may not be in the rule books, it may not be in the law, but I'm gonna have a say so. The way Honcho law works, if I get myself in a situation that we go, and I'm going to be responsible. One, I couldn't be here and there. I'd have to be a permanent figure in my child's life. So I'm gonna have a lot of say so, and we gonna make sure you're doing the up and up as far as carrying this child and everything else that goes with it. So that's just my personal perspective. But as a whole, if I'm not sleeping with you, I ain't doing this, it's not my fault. I can't tell you what to do with your kid. I can't tell you what to do with your body. I have no say so in it. I agree with that.
Yeah, I can see your point on that, but I guess I'm looking at a different route. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't even know that child, I don't even know these people. But it's just that when it comes to, innocent kids, okay, now all that gets thrown out the window, you know what I'm saying? So that's just how I'm looking at it. But at the end of the day, man, we have these certain rules set up for certain different things. How come we can't use those same kind of rules when it comes to, we harming innocent kids? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm putting at. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the Subway dude got locked up, you know what I'm saying, for looking at child pornography. See what I'm saying? So, why this lady's still free? And all this stuff that you just said, yeah, they haven't caught her in the act physically, but come on, man. It's just too much. It's just too much. But anyway, man, I ain't gonna hold the line. I know you feeling good, holler at somebody else, you said. But I'm gonna say this here one more thing just for Heidi. This is your boy, man, up calling one more game.
Already, that's what I'm talking about, man. But I appreciate it. And I'm gonna get my ugly stripper on, man, and keep on working hard. I appreciate that love, man.
I was just gonna say that too, though. My last final thing too. Hey, y'all saw my quote. Don't steal my quote. That's my new quote. Yeah, y'all know Honcho be working harder than these ugly strippers, man. Come on now. Y'all support the Den, South Sports, and South Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you ain't a fan of Houston sports. We all, use some noise talking. We do it all the time, you know what I'm saying? When people are fans of other teams and we all have opinions and stuff with the Den and stuff. Come on now, y'all come on in here. Let's chop it up with Honcho, man.
Man, I appreciate
all right, man.
that.
I'm going to holler at you, man.
I already, man. Up. Good to hear from you, man. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Shout out to man up, man. See, hopefully next time we get a chance, I'm gonna say that particular topic because we ain't had a man up there in a while. So next time we got an opportunity, we'll try to make that happen. And I said one more individual texts me, so I said I would answer. I won't be a hoe ass Honcho. I will take this call. We'll probably wrap it up after this and get some love for the Mixer crew. And some of y'all are funny. I can't be reading all the time. If y'all just would see, I fuck with y'all. Den folk, I really do. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all definitely are the highlight of my day or my evenings when it's just the end of my day. I look forward to chopping it up, coming in the den and just hollering at y'all, man, because I know it's going to be something. It's just going to be a thing. I don't know what it's going to be, what that thing is going to be, but it's going to be something that's going to be entertaining, and we're all going to enjoy it. So we'll take this last one before we get ready to wrap it up. And then I'll expand on what I was telling y'all about the den debates and the plans with that. Hello. Who am I calling?
Ashley.
Ashley. Hello, Ashley. How are you, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent, Miss Ashley. So sorry, Miss. I saw you were trying to get in, and I would like to know your views and your thoughts on the particular topic this evening.
I think it's all crazy.
Why?
Because I think it's weird that the mom dropped her kid off at a party that she wasn't supposed to be at. But it's like, you're responsible for anybody that's in your care while they're at your house, especially a 3-year-old. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, who did she drop the kid off with?
Right.
So they said they took her home.
So.
And then she came back.
But I mean, if I didn't, like, say I'm at home, right? Somebody just come randomly drops a child off on my porch. Am I really responsible for that kid? I didn't ask for that responsibility. Do I have to be responsible for that kid?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's terrible. Okay. So you say that the cousin or so that you believe is should be more responsible than the mother for this?
I don't think she should be more responsible, but it's like if you had a random 3-year-old at your house and you don't, she's not supposed to be there, like, you should either call CPS or the police if you're not going to take care of her. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's tough. It's a tough situation. Front door daycare, that's the one business that will never open. That front door will stay closed in that case. But I mean, it's just like, man. So I don't know, because like I said, we've talked about a lot of different scenarios. We've talked about a lot of different possibilities with this case throughout the show tonight. Do you think that there were some underlying motives? Do you think that the parents possibly had something to do with this whole situation? Or do you think that it was a chance situation where a random scumbag had access to a child and they took advantage of it? I think it's that, I mean, obviously she was lurked with candy. That just screams scumbag all over it. Like, that's literally like something that you would hear out of a children's book. Like, a trail of candy? That's crazy.
Y'all leave Bridget Benson alone. Still no pistachio. I'm telling y'all, Sweetberry she's a pistachio pedophile. So yeah, that sounds like some Hansel and Gretel shit, but it's crazy because children are simple, candy, toys, it is what it is. But the fact that this child was out shoeless and peeing outside, I mean, what does that say? Who do you think that? I mean, do you think the child maybe just came out of the shoes at some point? But how long did this child have to be outside to be having to go to the bathroom? And nobody's checking up on the child in the project at night. Like, what is really going on? I mean, what do you think?
I just think the worst possible scenario went on. But I think if I were to drop my kid off at my cousin's house, that my kid would be safe. Like, I don't know. But my family's different. Like, you're not gonna let your 3-year-old walk across the street. That's so stupid.
Yeah. Oh man. I had a time, one point in time, when I was, let's say, a different honcho, and I had a neighbor, and I happened to have their number, but I remember one time in the middle of the night I was knocked out at the house, and my old lady at the time, I'm sleeping. Actually, I think I was sleeping. I might have fell asleep playing video games or something. And my old lady at the time, she comes in waking me up, and she's walking with this small child. And I'm thinking I'm dreaming because I'm like, what the fuck? Whose kid is this? That definitely ain't mine. It's some old woman out of my past go drop something. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm trying to gather my bearings here. I'm probably still sleeping off a little bit of a high or something at that time. And it was my next door neighbor. And these people had some drug issues. And they were out running the streets, I knew but they had some drug issues. I think the child had actually just come back from being under CPS care, because I think they had one of them and then the other one, and because I remember seeing the CPS workers actually coming to the house and stuff like that. And my thing was just like, I called him. I happened to have his number for whatever reason. We're not even gonna get into that. And I'm just like, hey, I know y'all down the street or y'all wherever the fuck y'all at. Y'all better hurry up and come get this fucking kid before it becomes an issue, because I didn't sign up for this. He crying, asking for his mama and, all this other stuff. And so, I'm not with that shit. But again,
to have a child in a situation like that, to me, screams neglect by multiple parties, because somebody has to have a level of concern for these children. And if you are just so desperate to drop a kid off somewhere where they're not wanted, that means you couldn't find anybody that wanted to look after them. And that's not usually the child's fault. It could be that they're a bad kid, but that could be because of bad parenting, and so they don't want to deal with your bad kid, or you may be out of resources or whatever it is. But that means you have to stay your ass at home. You don't get to go out, football game or whatever. Now, work is a different thing, but still, you don't end up dropping somebody off at an unwanted party while you go to work. You take them to somebody who can watch them for an extended period of time. And it's just, to me, it's just...
I mean, I can imagine the kid wouldn't be wanted at a party, and there was another baby there.
Well, one baby is enough. Two babies can be difficult. I mean, but if you're not expecting... If I'm saying I'm setting something up and I'm arranging things, and I know I only have, finite resources to feed and entertain a certain amount of children, and depending on what it is, it could be...
Nobody ever does that.
Hey, people do it. Well, not in the in the projects they don't, but yeah, people do this stuff,
yeah,
right?
But in a project, they probably bought somebody's food stamps, and there's food everywhere.
Hennessy and shit.
I don't know.
I said Hennessy and shit. Well, how much do you think that it could be somebody who was off under the influence or something, and just neglected the children? Do you think that that's the case? That could be a possible thing?
That they're under the influence, like drug addicts?
I mean, it could be.
Who, the aunt or who?
Whomever was supposed to be watching the child.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not... There's nothing that's leading me to think that they're drug addicts.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
So
saying they're responsible.
okay, so let me now y'all talking about boys versus girls peeing outside. That's a whole different story. You see, thinking all the kids going in and out of the house. So what it was with Peyton, she dropped them off at the cousins, and so the cousin's neighbor was having the birthday party. So I want to make sure I'm getting this story right. So the cousin's neighbor was having the birthday party, and so the kid was just over there. And then I guess after the party, the neighbor took them back to the cousins, and then the kid was back basically outside.
I had thought that the woman that was having the party was the cousin, because her older son was also there too. There was like a picture of them eating cake.
I didn't see that picture. Like I said, again, I've been extremely confused with this whole story, because originally, everybody was saying, it was her own party that she got kidnapped from, and then it's
right.
a cousin, then it's a neighbor, then again there's again, like I said, I have to do some more research. Again, I'm still relatively picking up the pieces and catching up, but I definitely will dive further into it just because I want to make sure the details are right before I'm just saying some crazy stuff. I'm pretty sure I've said enough crazy stuff tonight. But
details are coming all over the place.
Yeah, but it was the same thing with the Malia Davis story. It was just people get these crazy random. I think he's gotten pushed back. There's never any charges against her, but I think he had a hearing, I want to say in mid-September, something like that, and I think they're still pushing it back. So I don't know exactly what's going on. Okay, so it was the neighbor that had a party. So she dropped him off at the cousins, and so the cousin, I guess, takes them to an uninvited party, or the kids must have been having a party next door or nearby, and so the kids maybe just wandered in there. Kids do strange things like that. Maybe they were, again, it could have been the cousin just left their asses outside. They wandered into the neighbor's house. They see kids doing whatever they're doing. They said, so the neighbor takes her back to the cousin, and then the baby's back outside again. Okay, that's crazy. So, and then if that's the case, then that's a lot more burden on the cousin then, because if you took the kid over there and the cousin agreed to it and then she was just being neglectful, then that's definitely on the cousin. So
right, that is.
But at the same time too, you know what I'm saying, that's at the same time though, you as a parent, as a person, if you have a neglectful cousin, associate, relative, friend, whatever, their habits, if they're reliable or not, dependable or not. Now you may not expect them to do certain things, but again, whether this is somebody that you can count on, and if it's again, she may have been out of options, but again, if she's just going to a football game, then your ass need to stay with your kids, and you got to miss that football game instead of putting them and leaving them with somebody neglectful. you know. So I agree, be for real. I generally hate kids' birthday parties, but Mexican kids' birthday parties are the best. If you Mexican kids' birthday parties are for everybody. Okay, like so.
That's what black people.
No.
Birthday parties. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe our birthday parties are different, but oh my god, I love kids parties.
Man, look, black kids' birthday parties are not for the kids at all. Black kids' birthday parties, the kid get neglected in his own birthday party. Mexican kids' birthday parties, they make sure like it's for everybody at first. They wear the kids out, and then once the kids are worn out, they put them up. They make sure they put up and put away, and then that's when the real party happens. Don't let it be a fucking Canelo fight or some fucking back when De La Hoya or something. Don't let it be when somebody were fighting. I'm talking about
scenery because
what?
I've been pretty good kids parties.
I don't know. But see, here's the thing. Then I'm not saying all that. I don't know. Island parties are always great. I don't know. Hood nigga parties, you know, they ain't welcoming. You get shot at a hood nigga kid party. Nigga stab you over the fried chicken. But you go to an island party, everybody's going to have fun. You go to a Mexican party. I used to live in a Mexican neighborhood. I have stumbled into parties on accident, leaving with a plate. Had no intention. I'm just, strolling down the street. I'll go to the corner store real quick, and I come back next door. I'm partying. I'm having Coronas and shit. I'm leaving with a plate of barbacoa. I'm going to the house full. It's like, how did I get here? But, I'm talking shit. The party, it'd be a kid's birthday party. Kid 1.5 years old and ain't even on the right date, and they party until 3 a.m. Fight over with. Just don't let them win. It's game over. But I'm cracking jokes. But it's unfortunate that this is happening because of irresponsible people that you're being forced to live with. From Pasadena, now I've been through Pasadena. All right, D-Love, appreciate you coming through. I stayed in Pasadena for a couple of months. Pasadena's a very different place. I don't think I'd ever live back in Pasadena again. That's not my bag. But hey, if you are from Pasadena, it's cool. But I lived there for a little bit. It was cool. I had no problems. It's just not my bag though. But yeah. So there's that. But again, like I say, it's just it is sad, man. Say they don't know what to turn the music off. This may be true. Pass the Get Down Dina. Shit, we used to call it Stinkadina. You pass through there, pass through 225. That shit. It was a different smell. You had to adjust. You can't go nose blind over there. You go smell some stuff. Okay. Well, what else is on your mind involving this? Miss Ashley.
Well, I just think the situation is crazy, and I can't believe this woman had helped this guy kidnap this girl.
No, she's crazy.
I know, but I had seen this this crime show, and I think this girl was 17, and she ended up hooking up with this pedophile, and she didn't have a record, and she was kind of retarded. And so she had hooked up with this guy, and they started raping and killing children all over, the East Coast. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But some women are easily influenced, depending on the right type of dude. And I'm not even going to say some women, because there are predatory women out there. Some people are easily influenced. And people who have a predatory nature, they know how to pick the proper victims, and they can manipulate them, and it's unfortunate, but it's some people have a skill at doing that. They can see the signs, the traits, whatever you want to call it, and they take advantage of that. They prey on these weak people and have them doing all kind of crazy stuff, man. So yeah, and I agree. That's the thing that bothers me. The cupcake thing bothers me. That's what I said early on. The fact that I wanted to make sure it says Kamille somewhere. It bothers me, but I couldn't fit. I don't think I could fit it all in the thumbnail. I had to go with what looked right. But the fact that this child was 3 and the mom said that she didn't recognize her name being Kamille.
Really?
Yeah, she said that she wouldn't answer to Kamille. She only knows, but she said you got to call her by her name, Cupcake. And I thought that was so ass back. Her name is Kamille, not Cupcake. But this is what she said during that interview. You got to call her by her name, Cupcake. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not her name. That's a nickname. So, the baby doesn't know her real name. Is everybody really just calling this kid Cupcake? Like, it's, again, like I say, it's just, yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people walking the street searching and yelling Cupcake. It's gonna be a little strange, but again, like I say, to each their own. That's when you talk about, what are your your priorities in life as a parent. And one of those things has to be educating your children. I think a level of education starts way before they get enrolled in public school, But I think a lot of people wait till they get to school and just throw them in school and let the school teach them, and then they're upset because they're behind or whatever else you want to call it. Obviously, that process hadn't gotten started because, the basics is learning your name and then figuring certain things out. I don't think that was going on, and I hate to say it like that, but
Are you saying they're bad parents?
Am I saying that they're bad parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Brenda, thank you, Brenda. Come back soon. I mean, it's this is a more kind of low key night because of the subject matter, but it definitely gets entertaining in the den. So you're more than welcome back any night, every night, 10 p.m. Central, Brenda. So definitely come join us again. Become one of the den folk. And anybody else who may be new and just listening, everybody's welcome in the den. We're all friends in the den. Sorry, I had to do a shameless plug, Miss Ashley. I apologize for that.
You join the conversation.
Yes, you can listen in every night and hear Miss Ashley espouse her thoughts. They are always honest and very intriguing. Yeah, I saw that misspelling, Shelley. Yeah, ain't no chauvinist. You're the chauvinist, Shelley. Chauvinist Shelley, that's your name. We're all women lovers in here. We would never do chauvinistic things or engage in that kind of behavior. Okay, but yeah, I think they're bad parents. Absolutely, because a parent would know not to put their child in a situation like that. They would know, hey, well, my cousin is not the most responsible. I guess I got to miss this football game or whatever it may be. So a parent.
I just think that. I guess it's kind of their fault, but I don't really think it's like. They should have called to make sure the child was okay. Like, that's crazy that, that even happened. If my kid went over to the neighbor's yard and some random person brought them back, like, I would want a phone call.
Yeah. But again, if you don't give a shit, but that's the point right there. They didn't even call. I mean, trust me. A parent who's away from their child, usually for an extended period of time, they call just to check up. Hey, how's everything going? Is everything all right? Is everything on the up and up? Can't be an excuse that she didn't have a cell phone because apparently she was on Facebook Live. We got to be honest. Absolutely got to be honest. Yeah, apparently she was on Facebook Live at the football game while the child was, in the projects outside doing whatever children in the project do. And it's not like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know in the den we're a different group here in the den, and sometimes people can mistake the humor and the things that we say for being crass, and sometimes we are crass. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's a very unfortunate situation. But just like when Lee called earlier, I talk about laughing to kind of cover the pain. Sometimes I think laughter is extremely important. I have been wanting to make a reference, a particular joke reference this entire evening, but I'm just like, I probably shouldn't. I will give 20,000 pistachios to anybody who can figure out what that joke reference is. It's a very popular joke reference. So it's something most people should know. 20,000 pistachios to, what do you got?
What do you tell a woman with two black eyes?
No, I'm not an abusive joke. I'll give you a hint. It's a projects joke, okay? And so I'll that's as much as I can give you.
I don't know any project jokes. I'm tired of fuck those kids.
Yeah, terrible people. It's a joke from a very popular stand-up. It's a so. Or
Oh, I know what it is. It's Dave Chappelle.
yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that a fucking baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've been thinking the entire time. Yeah, it was about the baby selling weed in the projects at 3 a.m. And it's like I say, not to make light, but it's just like, jokes come from a place. And they come from a place generally of pain. That's where most comedians have had a lot of pain in their life. Yes, the old baby on the corner trick. And it's just like, this is a painful situation, but what is a baby doing out in the projects in the middle of the night? Like, or even in the evening, late in the evening, and nobody watching them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is really going on? And that's my concern. Shannon, you like we already moved on from that. And that's my thing. Like, is my ticket to hell? Oh, fuck. First class, at least I hope. But I mean, again, it's fucked up, huh?
I said 20,000. That's dope.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if it's something that requires a little bit of effort, I guess I could pay out a little bit of pistachios. But that's just really all it is. But is there anything else that's on your mind, Miss Ashley?
No.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your call, and we're gonna get ready to wind it up. Do a little something for the Mixer crew, and talk a little shit this evening. Try to get our spirits up a little bit in the mixer. But I appreciate you taking the call, and it's always good to hear from you.
All right. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. You have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Shout out to Miss Ashley. I love Miss Ashley's calls. Even though all of you are racist in the den and y'all didn't believe that Ashley was black at first. Y'all are all racist. Y'all didn't believe Dan was black. I didn't believe Ashley was black. I didn't want to give them the credit that they deserved. And Dan and Ashley are I won't say two of my favorite. I love everybody who calls, but I can always expect something interesting when. Well, Heidi. Good night, Miss Bridget Benson. I appreciate you coming through. Hopefully you join us again live every night, 7 days a week at 10 p.m. Central. So hopefully you come through, become a certified den folk. It is 12. Damn, it's 12. I forgot I got started freaking late. All right, this is what we're going to do here. It's going to be 1 o'clock. We're going to wind it down. Oh, not you? Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you were saying good night to someone else. Oh, Miss Bell. Okay, good night, Miss Bell. All right. Have a good evening. But again, that's what I say. It's so many questions. That's why I say there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of blame. There is a lot of blame to go around. I mean, you can blame a lot of people for this. But here, I'll boot that up. But again, it's just an unfortunate situation. And when you hear these stories time and time again, when you first hear them, I hate to say it, but we know what the outcome is going to be because it's the same outcome 99.9% of the time. It's never positive. So when you hear missing child, when you hear missing, if it's not within the next 12 hours or so, by the time you've heard the story, it becomes something unfortunate. And so, it's just, what do we do to prevent these things? Legally, there's nothing that we can do. I would agree with Ms. Rashida that we need to start castrating. We might need to start doing like they do in China. They removed the baby limit. They used to have the baby limit. But I think that people need to take some personal responsibility, knowing a couple of things, and that is, if you're not in a position to take care of a child by yourself, because you always have to expect the worst. I mean, yes, you can be in a marriage, you can be in whatever it may be, or a relationship, but you always have to be able to prepare to expect the worst. If you know that you don't want to deal with a situation where you have to deal with that, don't have a child. If you know that you're having a child for reasons other than procreating and truly starting a family to give love and, you know, education and all the things that you need to put into a child, then you might not need to have a child. We have to stop having, or people have to stop having children for superficial reasons, you know, and that's the thing. So again, I don't know until people start believing that. But again, when you live in an environment where everything is, it is what it is, nobody really gives a shit. People don't have love for themselves, so they definitely don't have love for others, and they don't have value for themselves. So if you can't value yourself, you can't value another, you can't value a child, you can't value anything. And so we got a lot of these situations where that's what's going on. But here's the deal. I am going to slide over here to the mixer. I will be on the mixer in less than 5 minutes. I already have, that's already booting up and all that other stuff. So I'll be on there in less than 5 minutes. I'm going to grab me something to snack on in between. I put the link in the description, not the description, the link in the chat. For those of you who want to join, come slide over to the mixer. We're going to talk shit about everybody who doesn't show up in the mixer. So if you're not in the mixer, we're going to talk bad about you. If you can live with knowing that we're talking about you, then don't come. But if you can't live with it and you don't want us to talk bad about you, pull up in the mixer. But with that being said, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I thank you all. Everybody except for Heidi. Heidi gets a special thanks from nobody. No, Heidi's all right in my book. But I do appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. I do thank y'all. We'll try to have a more upbeat conversation tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff to discuss in this crazy world that we're living in. But with that being said, hey, y'all are the best. Appreciate y'all calling in. Appreciate y'all chatting. The people must be heard. This is The Den. I am Ed Honcho. Oh, and for everybody, if you're following The Den at Den Show Live on Instagram and Twitter, I'm not using those accounts anymore, so make sure you follow Ed Honcho HTX, EDHONCHO HTX. I will be posting all my updates for Twitter and Instagram on those accounts. I'm just going to consolidate them into one account because that's basically all the other ones are anyway. So, did I see Kenneth come in here and say he got his ass kicked? Yeah, that sounds about right. Blame the ankle. Yeah, I got you, only one. I seize you. Let me see what I can do. I'll give you something, a little something special. Throw a little love, a little extra, something on it. So like I said, what time is it now? 1:03. Well, 1:03 Central my time. The mixer will definitely be on and popping by 1:10. So that'll give 7 minutes. I'll be on there before that, but just in case, by 1:10 we will be live. Thank you for coming, Bridget Benson. BB, thank you for coming. We definitely appreciate you. Again, hope that you join us again in the near future. We do it every night. We're just as crazy, and we'll be happy to have you. But with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you. It is an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure. For everybody except for Kenneth. But Kenneth ain't been here like this, so I can't even talk. Like I kind of miss Kenneth being here. You know what I'm saying? I miss Kenneth being here because I could talk so much shit to Kenneth. But you know, we'll just call you BB. Kenneth used to be the easy target, but until then, mixer out.